down to self-destruct. All right. So the big economic
Yes.
policies passed in the last 8 months was the big, beautiful bill. Okay. What is one glaring issue with the big, beautiful bill, may you ask? Well, it costs us $4.5 trillion worth of debt related spending. That is the most
Mhm.
expensive bill in American history at a point where we are already $30 trillion in debt. Super financially irresponsible, right? And it's spending $4.5 trillion on a wealth redistribution from the poor to the rich. According to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, the big beautiful bill is reducing the purchasing power of the average American making at or under $51,000 per year, while disproportionately and only increasing it for those making over $51,000 per year. And it is
Mhm.
especially hurting low income Americans in that 10 to 35K
Which
per year
I
income
am.
bracket by taking 10 million people off of Medicaid, 3 million people off of food stamps, and increasing the premiums for everybody that is still on Medicaid of upwards by 75%.
Mhm. And I am low income, and and I feel like almost like when I did vote for him, like I'd been bamboozled almost, like from things that were said and pushed that he would do, and I feel like everything has just been very opposite of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, right? Because Donald Trump is a big fat liar, right? He's a con man.
It
He's a
seems that
deceiver.
way.
That's what he does, right? So, like, during the election, he made all the promises in the world. Like, he literally said that if he was elected, he
Yes.
would end inflation. That was literally one of his
Mhm.
promises, okay? First and foremost, it is
Yes.
impossible to end inflation, but he said it anyways so he could get your votes. He's not like a typical politician that will tell you half truths, right? He's not like a typical politician that
Yes.
will still try to stay in the confines of respectability and accuracy in one sense or another. He is an atypical politician that will lie straight to your goddamn face to get your support and then absolutely
Mhm.
snake you by passing policy that does the exact opposite of what he promised to
Opposite.
do for you.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And I guess, like I said, I'm much newer to politics than probably a lot of your viewers, and definitely way less educated than you on it. But I guess more so, I was raised Republican in a Republican household, so I've kind of always just followed that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I kind of felt like you would kind of be the person to talk to if I was to kind of shift my view or
Mhm.
beliefs. Like, why would I want to do that? Is
Um,
kind of my question to you.
Yeah, one really like good reason why you should want to shift your beliefs is to maintain accuracy and alignment with reality, right? And I think that's the
Mhm.
most benevolent thing anybody could do because not only is it good to be right, not only is it good to seek truth, but also truth is like usually like what is best for the people, right? Like I find there to be a very strong correlation between being right, critically examining what you believe in and why, and benefiting humanity. Right. So I think that's a
Mhm.
really compelling reason to, maybe shift your political views here.
Absolutely.
Because from my perspective, I think that reality has a left leaning bias.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Right. Right. And then you also brought up abortion. Can I talk to you about that?
Yeah, I'm very torn. Honestly, my belief on that is a very torn.
What,
I,
what
I'm
is your
trying to
belief
think
on
the best way to.
abortion?
I'm trying to think of the best way to put it into words. I've okay. I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can. I kind of believe it's just a basic right of health care, but I also don't feel like it should be used as birth control, if that makes sense.
So when you say it shouldn't be used as birth control, what do you mean?
Like people that just, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it into words. Like every 3 months, somebody's out doing whatever, and they just use that over and over and over. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
To just terminate life over and over and over.
Like in
And
that
not
circuit,
necessarily as birth control. I don't know that I worded that correctly, but
Okay, so like the perpetual like reuse of getting an abortion. Well, first and foremost,
Over and yes,
So first and
yes,
foremost,
essentially.
I want to put out that point this out that that is basically like a Republican myth, okay, right? And one really compelling reason why that's a Republican myth is because of how expensive abortion is, right? Abortions cost on average $500 to $700 across this country, right? And most of the time,
Mhm.
it's not covered by healthcare. So I mean, an expectation that a woman or girl, right, is going to be spending $500 to $700 like every single month for an abortion, right, is already unrealistic as is. But I mean, just the notion
Mhm.
that women are continually getting abortions is like incredibly false. And the fact of the matter is, according to Planned Parenthood, 54% of women that do get abortions are doing so in the confines of a relationship or marriage because the use of
Mhm.
contraceptives failed, right? But one thing that I will point
Yeah.
out, right, is that regardless if it's a married woman that's getting an abortion because contraceptives failed, or, right, a woman in college getting an abortion because last night she had had a hookup, I think that,
Yes.
they're just as valid and just as well within their rights to do so. Because fundamentally, for me, it does fall down to a right of access to healthcare and enacting upon one's
Yes.
bodily autonomy to evict the fetus from their uterus when the life of the fetus is not morally valuable to myself per my moral principles. So I don't think that there's anything wrong in either circumstances. But what I will say here, right, is that if you think that there's something wrong with getting continued abortions, you should ask yourself, well, maybe why are there some women out there getting continued abortions? The first thought that pops in my head is going to be financial
Mhm.
instability, lack of access to sex ed, and lack of access to contraceptives. So maybe if we focus
Yeah,
on
absolutely. Yeah.
reinforcing sex ed at an age appropriate level in like American high schools, maybe if we reinforce having open, public, free access to contraceptives, and we work on providing social safety nets for new families and low income men and women to support them financially, we would see a massive reduction in the amount of abortions in a
Oh,
benevolent way that's
absolutely.
actually benefiting the women compared to controlling their bodies.
Yeah, I do agree because there is very. I personally, I'm a low income family, and I had a child very young, and I mean, there's just not a lot of resources, and the ones that are, the stipulations are just absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. So,
Right. Well, Jody, is there anything else that you want to go over?
no, I don't think so. I appreciate your time having me on.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you for coming up. I wouldn't doubt it if you're going to be voted blue in the midterms. You have a good one.
You do the same. Thank you so much.
All right, we're gonna go to get that next guest loaded up in here. Hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Trump as president, folks. We're just looking for some debates. That was a breath of fresh air. That was a breath of fresh air. Good convo. All right, let's go to get that next guest connected right now. We got Jeremy loading into the stream. Just once again, please make sure that you're following the rules, y'all. Manda, thank you so much for the $5 over on Super Chat. As well as I just read your message, Manda. Thank you so much for telling me that the streams can help you. And I'm really sorry that that happened to you. Thank you so much, Manda. What's going on, Jeremy? Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18,
What year were you born in?
2007.
And what time is it?
What's that?
What time is it?
It's 226,
What state are you in?
North Dakota. But I wasn't born here, but we immigrated here.
Yeah, no worries, man. And then what's the capital of North Dakota?
Bismarck, I think.
I think that's right. Capital.
I'm not sure actually, but I think.
Let's see. Yeah, you are right. Okay, go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
So I study economics, or I studied rather, and I like the tariffs to protect our economy.
Oh, okay. All right. So what tariffs in specifically? The 50% tariffs on India, the 50% tariffs on Argentina, the 10% tariffs on
Um,
China? Which ones?
I think the China ones are good
The
because
10%
they
tariffs
have
on
like,
China.
I mean, I don't know the percentages, but there's
China because like some companies inside of China like exploit child labor. So what I'd recommend in that circumstance would be like isolated tariffs, like specifically on the companies that are engaging in child labor and not on the market as a whole.
But
Plus, not to mention, because like we don't have tariffs on like all other countries, right? What like companies in China will do is they'll transship their product, meaning they'll send it through a second country that we're not tariffing, and then into America. And until we have like a more robust, like isolated tariff plan that accounts for transshipping, right? I inevitably don't think it'll have too much of an impact on like the reduction of like exploitation of human rights in like foreign markets.
okay, wait. So I mean that would be good, but like the companies aren't going to say yes, we do child labor. You know, like how are you going to know which companies engage in that and which companies don't? You know, how are you going to know?
The identification of like which ones are. Well, I mean, I guess I am not an intelligence professional, but I'd assume that we'd have like some way of like gathering intelligence on like who is and who is not like responsible for like child labor. You know, if anything, like we might even be able to negotiate with the state of China to help like discover those things with like the threat of impositions of like sanctions if like they don't cooperate or something like that. I don't know. I haven't put too much thought into it, but I'd assume that it's realistic.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, if it could be possible, that'd be great. But also your second point, if they like what you say, they're gonna ship their products to another country and then bring them here,
Yeah,
or
transshipping. So they'll just send them to a like a third party country to then send in America. And given that third party country is a place that we wouldn't have tariffs on.
would that be worth it though? Like, wouldn't that cost more?
Well, all things considered, they like I mean, some companies determine that they'll be able to make more money given transshipping than they would having like the importer of their goods pay the tariff in America, which would cause a reduction in demand because of an increase in price.
Mm, wait, but wait, isn't aren't universal tariffs good then because you are preventing that from happening?
Well, sure. So universal tariffs can prevent transshipping from occurring, but they just come with like other issues, such as like the destruction of the global market, the destruction of the domestic market, and the complete isolation of America on the global stage. And that's why inevitably Donald Trump reversed the global tariffs.
I mean, I guess I need to do some more research on that.
Okay. Is there any other reasons why you support Trump?
Yeah, immigration, like securing the southern border.
Oh shit. Well, now you're kind of contradicting yourself because you just told us that you want to impose tariffs on other countries to protect American manufacturing. Mass deportation destroys American manufacturing. I mean, what else do you think is going to happen when we forcefully remove 8.3 million of our laborers and 11 million of our consumers? According to the American Immigration Council, I like to bring this up a lot. It's going to like destroy our GDP and reduce it by an average annual rate of decline of around 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion dollars per year if we were to remove all undocumented immigrants tomorrow.
Yeah, holy shit, that was a lot. But listen, I don't disagree that like the pathway should be better, but so like I do agree with giving them legal citizenship, but they should be deported first, and the system should become better, and then they can come back in legally. So
Yeah, well,
they're
you're
only
just
gonna be
well, then you're just endorsing the most inefficient process of immigration like ever conceived of at any point in history, right?
yeah,
Like
but are you just gonna
obviously, it's going to be like more ethical, more humanitarian, and more economically efficient to offer them that pathway to residency or citizenship while they're in the country, right? You're basically saying, I'm going to compare these two plans. The first plan is offering them a pathway to citizenship while they remain in the country, and the second plan is offering them a pathway to residency or citizenship after we deport them and make them wait in line for 10 to 15 years outside of the country. So
no
the
no
first
no.
plan, right, will cost
They're just
significantly
lying then. They're
less.
just lying.
What did I lie about?
I like what do you mean 10 to 15 years? I told you I want to make the system better, but they need to come back through the legal process. Like they won't just get citizenship out of nowhere, you know?
Okay, so you want to like reduce the amount of time that it would take for them to legally immigrate into the country after deportation.
Yes.
Okay, I think that'd be incredibly hard to do because you'd be increasing the legal wait times because you're doing a mass deportation of like 11 million people. But imagine you could pull it off and you were able to like endorse immigration policy that was able to effectively process a legal claim of immigration down to like 3 months. I still think that it'd be a more inefficient plan because A, you'd have to cough up like the $2 trillion to do the mass deportation over the course of the next 10 years. And then B, you'd have to cough up the opportunity cost of not having them in the market, which would be those multi-trillion dollar contributions to the GDP annually, the $100 billion contributions to government revenue, which is what they pay in taxes on the federal, state, and local level, when in all reality, you could keep
Bro.
that economic growth, you could keep that government revenue that they pay in taxes, and you could keep the $2 trillion that we'd be spending on the mass deportation by just offering them the pathway to residency or citizenship while they're already in the country, and not to mention that you forgo all of the humanitarian concerns related to mass mass
Hey,
deportation if
bro,
you don't
that's
do it at all. Like the illegal removal of Abrigo
dude, this is
Garcia.
way too much.
The Okay, I'll stop there. My bad.
Well, bro, so wait, did you say that it would cost a lot, or like, what did you say in summary?
So the
Because I
sum,
like,
yeah. So the summary is that your plan compared to my plan would cost so much money. It would just be yeah. That's it. Your plan compared to my plan would be significantly more expensive, with the upfront cost of paying for the operation of the mass deportation and the reoccurring annual opportunity cost of the loss in GDP growth and loss in government revenue.
okay, so yeah. Oh wait, 1 second. Wait. One second. I'll be wait.
No, I'd really appreciate it if you could respond.
I'm back. I'm back. So yeah. So yes, it will cost a lot, but it's like, just like how we pay for like the prison system, like they did commit a crime at the end of the day, crossing the border illegally. So like it's just, they will learn their lesson, and like we will have to pay a bit, but I mean it's fine, right? I mean,
No,
like,
I don't think it's fine at all to like opt to destroy this country and violate human rights, which is an inevitable
bro,
consequence of mass
when did I?
deportation, as we've seen, right, over a victimless misdemeanor
Oh,
that,
bro,
in my mind,
I'm just
was in
putting.
part incentivized by the American government due to the fact that they set up the incentivization structure for undocumented entry in the first place by making the
Hey,
legal means
bro,
of entering into the country so unattainable.
like, what do you mean, like human rights violations? I never advocated for that. Like, I don't like alligator Alcatraz.
Well, guess what?
I don't like it.
That's a part of Donald Trump's mass deportation. That's reality, brother. Right? It's inevitable given the governance of an authoritarian trying to deport millions of people by first like stripping of them of their humanity by lying and stereotyping, calling them violent gang members that escaped mental asylums and prisons. Right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to argue in defense of Donald Trump's mass deportation, then you must also be willing to accept the fact that you are endorsing thousands of human
That's
rights
not cool.
violations, humanity by lying.
Like, I like, why you, it's not black and white. It can be nuance. How do you say nuance? I don't know. Like, you can like half agree and half disagree, like what do you mean? It's not because I like deporting
Sorry,
criminal, like illegal.
your rhetoric is just insane. Like, you half agree, half disagree. Is basically I agree with the mass deportation, even if it means ignoring the human rights violation.
Wait, can you repeat?
When you're saying, well, you half agree and you half disagree, all that you're basically saying is that you accept the mass deportation and you do so in ignoring all of the human right travesties that come along with it. See, you can't do that when it comes to evaluating the efficacy of policy, right? Like, this is like a rich man saying that I really like Donald Trump's tax cuts that he gave me, but in arguing that those tax cuts were good, I'm also going to have to ignore the fact that they're reducing the purchasing power of like 153 million Americans making at or beneath
So
$51,000 per
when did I
year.
say I support the tax cuts for the rich? When did I say that?
So that was a logical analogy that you couldn't follow. Would you like me to make the
Oh, okay, my
logical
bad, my
parallels
bad.
for you?
Well, okay, so you're comparing. Okay, well, yeah. But wait, so, oh yeah, yeah. You're acting like it's like 1940s Germany. Like they're not being tortured. Like they're like, what do you mean?
Oh,
Like,
actually,
which
they
human right?
are. They actually are. No. So, Brigo Garcia, he was illegally deported by the Trump administration to Secot in El Salvador. And while he was there, he
One
was forced to
person.
kneel on the ground from 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. And if he was to have fallen out of exhaustion, then he would have been beat by the guards. He also was beat by the guards and he lost 30 pounds in 3 months. So, no, he was tortured. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, that's fucked up. That's messed up. That shouldn't happen. But like, that's one case. You're acting like there's millions of people
See how
that
you
that's
just
happening
like
to.
keep on
What?
shifting the goalposts? Like, first your claim was nobody's being tortured. I give you like one specific incident, so someone being tortured, and then you say, well, that's one case. What about like everyone else? So you're just perpetually shifting the goalposts, right? And by the way, if you want to look at like more instances of human rights abuse, we had a Democratic senator do a whole report, and he was able to personally verify and independently confirm 510 different instances of human rights abuse in the last 8 months.
And like, which human rights? Like
We SA at ICE detention centers, grape at ICE detention centers, right? Like a denial of
ICE
like
agents.
constitutional protections.
Wait, did ICE agents grave people?
Yeah, so there's been independent, multiple confirmed instances of lawsuits launched against ICE
Whoa.
agents and workers at like for instance like the Louisiana ICE detention center for SA and grape.
Okay, wait. I'm not trying to like like harm the victims, but like couldn't they just be lying because they hate ICE?
What is the likelihood that we'd see four people lying about being raped by the same person at the same facility, knowing that those four people had no connection to
Oh
one
wait, you didn't
another?
say. I didn't
Incredibly
hear you said
low.
same facility.
Incredibly
Sorry,
low.
my bad. I didn't hear same facility. My bad.
Right.
I didn't hear that.
And honestly,
Damn,
like the fact that like the first thought that pops in your head is that they're
bro, it's
lying,
true though. It's
right? Is
true.
like
There's millions,
is
bro.
like
There's millions
probably
of
a
people that
a backwards way to think about things.
bro. There's millions of people that hate ICE. Of course, there's gonna be people that are gonna lie to like harm their rep or something. You know,
Well,
like
it
of
just
course.
doesn't make any sense to suggest that like these multiple independent individuals who all launched lawsuits against individuals at the same Louisiana ICE detention center
Yeah.
that didn't know one
After you
another
said
and were there at separate times were all lying. That's like it just doesn't make any sense.
after you said same facility, I take that back. Like that's messed up. Like, that shouldn't happen either. But like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think that E. Jean Carroll was lying?
Nah, that definitely happened.
So you think
Like
that
Trump
Donald
should be
Trump is a rapist? So answer me this, because earlier we were talking about how it would be significantly better to offer undocumented immigrants a pathway to residency or citizenship compared to your plan of kicking them out of the country and then making the legal immigration processes better. And I explained economically why. I was like, well, it's going to cost us literally trillions of dollars if we deport them first, then have them come back in legal second. And then you told me that you don't care what the cost is. They committed a crime and we need to punish it. So in other words, what you told me was you don't care how much it destroys America. They committed a crime and they need to be punished for it. So even from your perspective of thinking that Donald Trump is a good president for America, couldn't I just argue that you shouldn't care about how he helps America? He committed a crime. He raped E. Jean Carroll and he should be punished for it. And the bare minimum would be to support his impeachment from office?
I mean, yeah, kind of valid, I guess.
Well, what's your
I
counter
mean,
argument? Because your counter argument can't be that it would be more beneficial for the country to keep him in office, even though he
it
raped
actually
Eugene
is. It
Carroll.
actually is.
Because you told me that although it would be more beneficial to keep undocumented immigrants in the country, even though they committed a victimless misdemeanor, you would still support destroying the economy to deport them. So why wouldn't you support getting Donald Trump out of the White House because he raped Eugene Carroll and the court proved it, even if you think he's beneficial to the country?
Because undocumented immigrants aren't gonna. I mean, okay, wait, no, never mind. Damn, I don't know. I mean, Trump is like. I mean, you said my argument couldn't be that he's leading the country well, but like he is.
Oh,
Like,
okay. So if your counter argument is, well, we shouldn't punish him for raping a woman because he's beneficial to the country, you're a fucking hypocrite for arguing that we should punish undocumented immigrants for a victimless misdemeanor, even though they're good for the country.
I mean, damn, I don't really know how to respond. You kind of got me here, but
I did.
and I guess you're right.
I appreciate you
But
for
still,
admitting that.
like, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. You kind of got me there. I'm not gonna lie. But okay. Yeah, I guess I'm done here. But one more thing. One more thing. I'm a trolling. I love you. I just wanted to give you a debate. Bye.
I don't believe him. I actually don't believe him. So he said that I'm trolling. I just wanted to give you a debate. I don't believe him. I think that he meant everything that he said, and that he said that to kind of like make things less bad for him. I don't believe that he was a troll. Usually, like you could kind of tell, like based upon like the tonality of their voice, the way that they make their arguments, right? Nothing about the arguments that he made, right? Like scream troll, like literally at all, right? Like those were like legitimate MAGA arguments, right? There was like no obvious like inflection in his voice that he was joking. He didn't try to like characterize MAGA arguments as like stupid or like insane. Like he was actually making them as if he believed them with conviction. I don't think that he was a troll. We're going to move on to the next guest, guys. Hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Trump as president. We're going to get you loaded up here, y'all. We are just looking for some debates. Let's go to get that next guest Maggie loaded up in. In the meantime, there's a couple people that I like to thank. Holy crap. Really, really quickly. Hey, let's see here. By Axelot. Thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo saying, hey, yo, are some of these guys seriously defending a rapist? By Axelot. That happens every single day. with like multiple people. Actually, like literally every person. Yeah. Isn't that fucking crazy that that is the state of American politics in 2025? Thank you for the love by Axelot. Please show some love to by Axelot down below in that chat for the $20. As well as, give me a second here. Emily, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Thank you so much, Emily. As well as Kelly, thank you so much for the $50. Saying, Dean, great to see you, man. It's my birthday today. And as a longtime supporter, I want to say thank you for the work that you're doing for the US. Kelly, happy fucking birthday, dude. Okay, I'm going to need everybody in here to show some love to Kelly for their birthday. That is Kellie. Thank you for the $50 and happy birthday. And what is up, Maggie? Do you support Trump? Maggie, I'm going to go and give you around 5 seconds here to respond. Are you with us? Okay, it sounds like Maggie's, like, sleeping. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next guest. If you're watching and you want to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal and the link tree in my bio on TikTok, as well as in the pin message on the YouTube stream. I appreciate everyone for the love. What's up? Do you support Trump?
So I don't support Trump exactly, but I don't support the left either. And I was just had some questions that can maybe lead into a debate if you'd be willing to answer those.
Well, let me just ask you a question. Knowing everything that you do now, if you were teleported back to November, who'd you vote for?
If I was teleported back into November, I would probably vote for left.
Okay, awesome, man. Well, I mean, if you're just looking for more reason to support the left, what I'd recommend is just watching the stream. Unfortunately, we are just so good to talk to people that do support Trump, do support the right on the stream, but I think a great place for you to be is just watching the stream, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. As well as Christian, thank you for the $5 over on YouTube saying, Dean, do you participate in local and state elections? Yeah, so I mean, I can't wait till my next local election because I am going to be participating, but unfortunately it won't get me anywhere because my county is 80% red. As well as Ryan, thank you for the €10 over on Super Chat saying, Chef Dean, Dean W. Withers. Appreciate you for the love, Ryan. What's going on? Stewart, I think your name is. Do you support Trump? Stewart, are you here? Okay, Stewart's also not here. Okay, guys, go ahead and put a me with your age down below in that comment section if you're a Trump supporter and you want to come up here and debate me. Because, like, quite fucking frankly, I don't know what's going on today, but Trump supporters are impossible to find, right? And it's funny because just like 3 hours ago, Donald Trump posted something on Twitter saying that 57% of Americans support him as president. Where are the majority of Americans that support him, and why aren't they here? Oh, Sophie, that's really annoying. Do you support Trump? Okay, I'm just going to kick them. I can't deal with that. All right, moving on to the hybrid trainer right now. What's up, man? Are you MAGA?
Yo,
What's up? Do you support Trump?
I voted Trump in this last election. Yes, sir.
Do you still support him today?
I would, I just heard you ask the last person if they would go back and vote. Otherwise, I would not. I would vote Trump again. Yes.
Okay, awesome. And are you driving?
I am not driving. No.
All right, man. All right. So, yeah, how the hell do you still support Donald Trump after the last 8 months of tyranny and nonsense?
I think that I don't support him as much as I support the movement of making America a little bit less soft, right? I think that a lot of the left side, and I had grown up left for the most part. I'm from New York. So that's kind of what I was always made or taught to be, right? I just think that we have gotten to a place where we have to debate whether a man is a man and a woman is a woman all the time, and it makes it seem like we're trying to take away.
That's an example of the right being soft, right? Like pronouns piss you off so much that your party spent $300 million on anti-trans ad in the last election. Like unironically, that is an example of the right being soft. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Mr. Hybrid Trainer. I can't hear you when you leave TikTok. You're going to have to come back to the app in order for me to be able to hear you and for us to talk. Now, while he's off app, real quick, Catherine, thank you for the $13 on PayPal saying Cat here at Debate Gma, sending love, and I'm working hard every day. Let's see what else she says. To get my MAGA grandma up with you. Yeah, have you made any progress on that? I'd love to talk to your grandma, Cat. Thank you for the $13, as well as Catherine. Thank you so much for the $23 on PayPal. Catherine says it's my 23rd birthday. Thank you for having the courage the courage and knowledge to debate. Keep up the hard work. Thank you so much, Catherine, as well as happy birthday to you. Show some love to Catherine down below in that chat for her 23rd birthday. That is fantastic. As well as Jackie, thank you for the motorcycle. I have no clue where the hybrid trainer went. He heard me say the word pronouns, and I think I scared him away. If he happens to come back, we'll continue our conversation, but I think he dipped. What's up? Do you support Trump, Chris?
I do.
And how old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay, Chris, why do you support the worst president of your 20 years of life? I mean, this guy is problematic within all scopes, relevant to American politics and not.
I would say I'm really 2A, pro 2A, and I
Go ahead, Chris.
Did you hear me?
You said that you're pro 2A.
I said also I think there's a crisis on our border as well.
Okay, well, let's start off with the first point, pro 2A. So not only is Donald Trump anti-2A, but he's actually anti the Constitution as a whole.
Okay. Can you give me an example where he's anti 2A?
Yeah, for sure. He directed his Justice Department to try to find a way to ban gun ownership for trans Americans that is so belligerently antithetical to the Second Amendment that even the far-right NRA has came and spoken out saying that that is wrong and it violates the constitutional rights of law-abiding American citizens.
So do you think what gun act did Reagan enact that?
Any gun act that Reagan would enact is completely irrelevant to the reason I just gave you to prove that Donald Trump doesn't care about the Second Amendment. Or else he wouldn't be advocating for his Justice Department to try to ban all gun ownership for law-abiding American citizens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my point here is Kamala was trying to ban all ARs, which would be 20 million guns versus 300 Kamala versus 300,000 that would be taken if we banned trans rights. It's a big difference. 20 million versus 300,000.
Okay, well, we have a president set forth to argue that like a ban on ARs might not be constitutional, right? I mean, like there's like legitimate debate that has unfolded about that. I mean, shit, we even had an AR ban in this country in the 90s that was never ruled as unconstitutional. Not to mention, if it was unconstitutional, well, we have a 6-3 conservative leaning Supreme Court right now. So if she tried to pass that policy, SCOTUS would stop it and she would respect that decision because she respects checks and balances. Unlike Trump, who is always trying to navigate his way around them.
Yeah, well, I don't believe that. I mean, that was one of her main points she was pushing for was common sense gun laws, which she was saying to ban AR-15s, which would be 20 million
then it
guns.
wouldn't have been in violation of your Second Amendment rights, right? And if it didn't go through, if SCOTUS attempted to stop her and they did stop her, then she would have respected it. She wouldn't have pushed back. She would have said, okay, that's how, our constitutional republic is supposed to work. These are the checks and balances as described by the Constitution, and it would have been dead in the water right then and there. But like Trump, on the other hand, he's incessantly pushing for like unconstitutional BS, even when his lawyers tell him that he's wrong, even when the courts tell him that he's wrong. And his response is to never say, okay, I support those checks and balances. It's to turn around and like fire the judges that rule against them, or to like just belligerently disrespect their order, such as he has with trying to find a way to ban the burning of the American flag, even though SCOTUS ruled that that's constitutionally protected, such as how he did when he tried to ban birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil, even though we've had case law and constitutional precedent set since 1865 to say that's a right that the Constitution grants to them, right? If you care about the Constitution, right, your last pick in the 2024 election, and even more so now, would be Trump, including for the Second Amendment.
I mean, I just don't think that any of the things that you're saying have been passed. He hasn't passed a transgender gun law.
You directed the Justice Department to find a way to get it done. And by the way, the second thing, or the last two things that I said, he has tried to get them passed. Executive Order number 14160 was signed into law on January 21st, 2025. That was an unconstitutional directive signed into law through an executive order to attempt to find a way to ban birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants. That happened, man.
Did it pass though?
An executive order is you put a signature on it and it's law, but courts shot it down because, as I already told you, it's unconstitutional.
I mean, to your point, many presidents have tried to sign things into law that have been ruled unconstitutional. I don't see your point here.
You're right. Many presidents have. Even Biden did with trying to find a way to forgive student loans. But the difference is I believe that when Biden tried to find a way to forgive student loans and ultimately SCOTUS ruled it as unconstitutional, it was unknowingly unconstitutional to himself. In this sense, when we're referencing Trump, it's either the fact that he's a complete idiot and can't read the first section of the 14th Amendment, or it was intentional and negligent because he knowingly signed an unconstitutional directive into law.
So somebody who has been in politics for almost their entire life, as long as Joe Biden has, he gets a pass on unknowingly being unconstitutional.
Yeah,
How does that work?
Because I don't even know what was unconstitutional about the first way he tried to forgive student loans. Do you?
How old are you?
I'm 21. Can you answer my question? Do you know what was unconstitutional about the first way you tried to forgive student loans?
The reason I asked how old you are is because if you were in a job long enough, you would probably know the ins and outs of what's unconstitutional and not, especially if your job is politics.
Well, I mean, you can't read the mind of the you can't read the mind of like the interpretation of the Supreme Court, right? Unless we've already had like case law president suggested.
Something that's constitutional and unconstitutional is not up for interpretation.
I want you to tell me
whether or not
what was unconstitutional about Biden's first round of student loan forgiveness.
I mean, clearly it had something to do with the fact that why would a certain group of people have to get debt removed when all these other people already paid it off?
No, that's not what made it unconstitutional, because he ended up finding a way to constitutionally forgive student loans for some groups of people while not forgiving the loans of other groups of people.
Okay, so here, let me give you another example where Biden was unconstitutional when he tried to mandate COVID vaccines. That was ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court.
Mandated COVID vaccines. When did he try to mandate them, out of curiosity?
It was called OSHA vaccine or test mandate.
Oh, you're talking about like a suggestion from OSHA? A suggestion from OSHA is not like an order from the president.
It still was ruled unconstitutional.
Okay, great. Yeah, so that would mean that OSHA tried to push for something that was unconstitutional. Do you think that the president? Do you think that the president is like the director of OSHA?
No, my point is there's more stuff I can read off.
The president is not the director of OSHA. Thank you so much.
There's many things that every president has done that has been ruled unconstitutional.
Right.
So I don't see your point.
I'd say arguably the difference is, right, I could point to Donald Trump saying in December of 2022 that he would support repealing the, it's been a while since I've quoted him on this. Let me go ahead and look it up. Donald Trump calls for termination of Constitution, Truth Social, December 2022. It's been a while since I've read this one off. Here we go. So he said, and I quote, because he thinks that Biden stole the 2020 election from him, a massive fraud of this type would allow for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, right? So although you could point towards like many presidents, right, engaging in actions that were inevitably ruled as unconstitutional unknowingly to themselves, then they respect the checks and balances, none of these other presidents, right, went on social media and said that they think that all of the rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, should be repealed, right? Although, right, we could point towards Biden unknowingly violating the Constitution with his first round of student loan forgiveness, right? Biden didn't in turn call for termination of the 22nd Amendment like Trump has. Biden didn't in turn also infringe on the First Amendment 4 different times like Trump has. And Biden didn't in turn sign another executive order into law, violating the case law precedent and explicit text of the 14th Amendment like Trump did on his first day in office, right? I think that there's a very clear and distinct difference between our checks and balances working as designed and a president that doesn't want to play by the rules, but rather wants to be an authoritarian leader that makes the rules, stress testing our checks and balances, attempting to thwart them.
I mean, so you said he violated the First Amendment 4 times. Are you talking about Jimmy Kimmel, who's on the air again now? Who if there was real focus on getting him fired from the FCC, why didn't they fire him again? Why didn't they?
Actually, Donald Trump posted a paragraph on Truth Social saying that if Disney and ABC let him back on air, he was going to find a way to sue him. Not to mention,
I mean,
let's
I
go
haven't
over the
seen a
first.
lawsuit.
Let's go over the first the first 4 violations of the First Amendment in
Go
the
ahead.
last 8 months. The first violation in my mind was when he said it was illegal to criticize him in the media, which would be infringing on like freedom of speech. The second violation is when he said that MSNBC and CNN are illegal, like as an organization, infringing on the First Amendment rights to freedom of the press. The third violation was when he signed signed an executive order into law, attempting to find a way to ban the burning of the American flag. Well, that would be a violation of symbolic speech under the First Amendment as argued and ruled by SCOTUS in 1989. His fourth violation was in 2015 when he argued that he thinks all Muslims should be prevented from immigrating into America. That was a violation of the First Amendment's right to freedom of religion. He also said, now we get like a fifth and sixth violation, I forgot about these two, that the boycotts against Tesla were illegal, as well as his government push for banning public aid to cities that boycotted Israel, as well as he's now saying that protests are illegal. So, I mean, yeah, there you go, man.
Well,
Huge
I do
attacks on the First
remember-
Amendment.
I do remember, wasn't the law about the Muslims, wasn't that actually passed, that there was no new travel during that time?
Well, because it was unconstitutional to ban all new Muslim immigrants, as he explicitly said, he instead just found a way to sign an executive order into law, banning immigration from 10 countries that are predominantly Muslim, which I obviously still disagree with because the intention was, once again, to try to stop Muslim immigrants from coming into this country, right? How can you sit here and tell me that Donald Trump is a good president that cares about our constitutional rights when he explicitly said that he wanted to stop all members of a single religion from immigrating into America? How could you possibly support him after that?
So you think that's more unconstitutional than the Patriot Act?
I'm not too familiar with the Patriot Act, but I don't think it's I don't think it's like too relevant to the conversation.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's just, like you're trying to say it's affecting our Constitution and our amendments, which the Patriot Act definitely does.
Okay, and who signed the Patriot Act into law?
I'm not sure. Reagan or someone. I don't know.
So it seemed completely
Or
irrelevant.
Bush. Actually, I think it was Bush.
Great.
It was definitely Bush.
Great. Sounds completely irrelevant to mention a law signed into effect by a Republican president in the early 2000s.
I just don't think
that conversation about why you support Trump. Like for
I
instance,
don't think that
like for
immigration
instance, I'll tell you here. I'll tell you here. Right? If the Patriot Act was unconstitutional, then we'd say that Bush also belligerently violated the Constitution, just like Trump. I don't really think that'd do much for your argument, and it honestly kind of sounds like a cell phone since he was a Republican too.
Well, no, I'm trying to state that there's way more effects to our Constitution than Trump. That immigration law had no effect on our Constitution.
Then you're just saying that Republicans have been standing in opposition to core American values and protecting and serving the American Constitution and the rights and liberties that it guarantees to us, not just when Trump got into office, but since Bush too, right? You're just giving us even more reason to reject the GOP.
I'm just giving you examples on why Trump's actions aren't bad at all.
Go ahead and explain to me how his executive order to ban birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants wasn't unconstitutional. Go ahead and give me that explanation, Chris.
Well, because I believe that all mass immigration is bad, and that would be a form.
Okay, so you can't just say immigration is bad, therefore it's not unconstitutional to ban birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil. What kind of fucking argument is that?
They're undocumented. They're undocumented, which means their kids are undocumented unless they documented them.
Okay, so that's actually not how it works according to the 14th Amendment. Can you read the first section of the 14th for us?
Gotcha.
Right, because no, it's not if parents are undocumented, then children are too if they're born on American soil. The first section of the 14th Amendment that you're about to read out loud for the class is going to very swiftly prove that notion wrong.
Where the fuck? I mean, I'm just saying.
No, can you go ahead and read it out loud? First section of the 14th. Read it out loud.
It's still a form of immigration.
My friend, can you please read that 14th Amendment out loud for the class?
The 14th Amendment grants citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the U.S.
Okay, the children of undocumented immigrants persons?
Yes.
So if they're born on American soil, then they're citizens per the 14th, right?
My point is...
Well, my question was, explain to me how the order isn't unconstitutional, and you seem to be doing the opposite. You're actually explaining why it was unconstitutional.
My point is it's making mass immigration more. Like if we have undocumented immigrants come over and they're having babies and then they're U.S. citizens, then the babies that have babies are U.S. citizens. Like it shouldn't be like that. We should all go through a process.
Okay, so now you're shifting the goalposts, and we'll have a conversation about why you're wrong on immigration, right? It's probably going to fall down to your own
I
internal
have a
bigotry.
lot of sources
But the
for
fact
you.
of the matter is, Chris, you told me that wasn't unconstitutional for Trump to do. Seemingly now you're shifting the goalposts, agreeing that it was unconstitutional for Trump to do, but you just agree with it, right? So you went from arguing that Donald Trump wasn't a wannabe authoritarian that doesn't care about the Constitution to now arguing that Donald Trump is maybe a wannabe authoritarian that doesn't care about the Constitution, but you agree with his authoritarianism because you think it furthers your narrative.
No, I agree with that order 100%.
Right. So then you agree with belligerently violating the Constitution. So for the last 30 minutes, when you're arguing that, oh, I care about the Constitution and Donald Trump's not a threat to it, you were virtue signaling, and now you've finally been forced to take the mask off because I had you read the 14th Amendment, which evidently proved said executive order was unconstitutional. Right. The mask is off. You don't care about the Constitution. You don't care about law and order. You don't care about the individual liberties and rights that the Constitution gives to all persons in this country under the jurisdiction of U.S. law. You don't care about any of that shit, bro.
I mean, you could say that. I mean, I just said I'm very pro 2A, so obviously that's not true.
So why do you care about the Second Amendment, but you don't care about the 14th Amendment?
Because it promotes mass immigration.
Okay, so you're basically saying it's okay to break the law if it stops immigration into America?
I mean, it was an executive order, not. I mean,
executive orders can break the law.
Yeah, like we discussed earlier.
Right, so you are saying it's okay to break the law that stops immigration into this country?
Yes.
Okay, so what is so bad about immigration into this country that you're willing to throw the Constitution out the window to stop it?
It lowers wages for half of Americans.
Immigration lowers wages?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like legal immigration or undocumented immigration?
All immigration.
All immigration? Could you be able to demonstrate a source for that?
All mass immigration.
Dude, do we have more immigration in America today?
Yeah, I have a source for you. Wait.
Do we have more immigration into America today or 50 years ago?
Definitely today.
Okay, do we have higher real median wages in America today or 50 years ago?
That literally doesn't correlate. Correlation doesn't equal causation.
Well, I'm just simply telling you, we just don't see the trend that you suggest would exist if you were right.
Well, yeah, you do. If you actually look at my sources, you'll see that every 10%. Listen. Every 10% increase in immigration leads to 4 to 10% decrease in wages for unskilled Americans, for people without a college degree, which is half of America.
Okay. So now you're saying that it leads to a reduction in wages for unskilled Americans.
I said that.
So would you support things that would increase wages then?
Mass amnesty would not increase wages.
How do you know that?
Because I have a source.
What's your source?
It's called Labor Market Effects of Immigrant Legalization in the Post-IRCA Era. And in the second paragraph, you can actually see where I'm citing. Where is it? Because I agree, short term there was some wage gain, but it dissipated over time, and that's what the study shows. No.
I didn't talk to you last week?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, so you just said that the study proves that there was an increase in wages caused by mass amnesty?
That dissipated over time.
Okay.
Which had no the amnesty had no real effect on wages.
So like you're saying that increase dissipated over time. I'm not even sure what that sentence means. Can you explain and then reference where in the study it would describe that and justify it to be the case?
That's what I was saying. Here, I'll find it right now.
Because I have it open on my screen like as we're speaking.
I know, I bet you did. I think it's in the first two paragraphs.
Well, while he's looking for that in this source, let me go and thank a handful of people here. Rachel, thank you so much for the $2 over on PayPal. Thank you, Rachel. As well as Gabby, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal saying peace and love. Peace and love to you as well, Gabby. And oh my God, Mia, thank you so much for the $100 over on PayPal. Mia, that is fucking insane. Jesus Christ. Let's get 1,000 Mia W's down below in that chat for the $100 donation over on PayPal. Literally right now. Mia with a $100 says both were unconstitutional, but Biden was trying to help the people and Trump is trying to hurt the people. And like Mia, I would agree with you, but even on top of that, like I don't think that Biden knew his first round of student loan forgiveness was unconstitutional until SCOTUS ruled it, and then he respected it and found a legal way to do it. And I think that's the bigger and more important difference between what Donald Trump is doing today and what Biden did with his student loan forgiveness. Because, you know, as soon as we open that door to say it's okay to violate the Constitution in circumstances that are good, well, I mean, then you like get outcomes such as Chris, where he's now arguing that it is good to just throw the 14th Amendment out the window because it removes citizenship from the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil. Now, where do we see in this study that that mass amnesty reduces wages?
It's in the introduction. It says, furthermore, both Pan and Barcelos provide evidence that positive wage effects among workers who obtain legal status through the IRCA dissipated over time.
Okay, so what's that evidence?
That any positive wage went away. Any positive wage effects dissipated over time.
I'm asking you for the
actual
evidence
positive
for
wage
that claim.
effect. I just told you.
No,
Pan and Barcelos are people who are studying this.
Okay, could you
and
show
they
me?
provide evidence.
Yeah, so pull up their studies.
Pull
up their studies. Let's go over their methodology. Then go ahead and like give me the evidence provided by Pan and Barcelos.
It's in that paper.
Well, no, actually, this paper is referencing them. If you see, like, I'm looking at the same page you are right now. It says both Pan in quotation marks 2010 and Barcelos in quotation marks 2010 provide evidence that positive wage effects among workers who obtain legal status through the IRCA dissipated over time. Right. Well, we'd actually have to look into the citation provided for Pan and for Barcelos in order to determine what their evidence is. Like, obviously, I'm going to need.
They have evidence.
I'm going to need to know what their evidence is in order to say that your claim is reliable.
I don't have their fucking evidence. It's a bunch of graphs and numbers. I can't just read off graphs and numbers for you.
Okay, well, I mean, you are more than welcome to be like able to provide me this citation for both Pan and Barcelos, and then I could pull them up on my computer too, and we can look through them.
So you think this study is lying?
Well, I'd say that we haven't been given sufficient evidence to believe that it's true, right? Because you can articulate the methodology and evidence provided by Pan and Barcelos. We don't even know who Pan and Barcelos are. We just are reading off of this random Word document that apparently they provided evidence for the conclusion. Obviously, we would have to evaluate the evidence provided within the research in order to determine if it's reliable or unreliable. That's like how we think through these things critically.
I mean, I agree, but I've definitely read the research, and it's just a bunch of graphs and numbers, you know,
okay,
showing.
Well, where can I see these quote unquote graphs and numbers?
I can find their study. I mean, like,
yeah, I mean that would be what would be necessary.
You're trying to refute a 53-page study.
Well,
like,
I'm trying to determine what the methodology and the evidence is of this study, of course. Right? And by the way, no, it's not a 53-page study. So this looks like a meta-analysis of like work done by other individuals, including citations from Ying Pan. I'm learning here is his full name.
You get the gist of what I'm doing, though.
But we would need to know his evidence. We would need to know the evidence as provided by Pan in order to determine if the claim is reliable.
Okay. I gotcha. I mean, like, that is definitely enough evidence for most people. You're just trying to push me.
No, it's not at all. Like literally the meta-analysis that you like linked to me called like the impacts of like the IRCA or whatever, literally just says that Pan has evidence for the conclusion, right? It's not even like a talking point of the paper. It's not going to be right like the point of the paper either. It's literally just like one sentence in one paragraph saying that Ying Pan has evidence for this conclusion, right? But we're going to need to know what Ying Pan's evidence is.
Here it is. The impact of legal status on immigrants earning and human capital, evidence from the IRCA 1986 by Pan Ying, or Ying Pan. Fuck. I'm not sure if this has the evidence, but this looks like the study.
Okay, well, I mean, just feel free to tell us what the evidence is, man. I'm listening.
Well, it's just a bunch of graphs. I mean,
Okay.
how do I read that off?
So I'm already looking at like massive issues. Oh wait, what? Oh my God. No way. Dude, okay, here's what I want you to do. This is fucking crazy. So I want you to go to page 30 of this like meta-analysis that you provided me, right? Find Ying Pan citation, right? It's called the quote unquote impact of legal status on immigrants, earnings and human capital, evidence from the IRCA 1986, right? And then I want you to copy the citation, paste it into Google and find his paper. Literally the abstract says, and I quote, the results suggest that getting legal work status and then giving a green card has a significant positive effect on skilled migrants' labor market outcomes.
Skilled migrants.
Yeah, that's what the paper's arguing. No. That is the abstract from the paper.
Arguing.
That is the abstract from the paper. That is the abstract from the paper that you are saying, right, yielded a marginal, right, positive effect to begin with, and then fizzled out over time, when in all reality, when you go and read Ying Pan's abstract about the paper mentioned, it literally concludes that the result suggests that getting legal work status and then a green card has a significant positive effect on skilled migrants' labor outcomes.
On skilled migrants.
Right,
that means migrants with a high school GED.
You can't say just because Ying Pan studied the outcomes for skilled migrants that therefore the outcomes are bad for unskilled migrants. Okay, that's like saying I like waffles, therefore I don't like pancakes.
That's just not true because skilled migrants are way different than unskilled migrants. And
okay.
in the paper,
well, then you're saying that Ying Pan's paper didn't relevantly study the conclusion that you're looking to find evidence for. So then Ying Pan's research would be of no use in proving your claim. And because Ying Pan's research would be of no use of proving your claim, then the paper that you gave me, right, was just completely irrelevant because it cites a research paper that is of no use to you as it is not relevant in determining the validity of your claim that unskilled migrants gaining citizenship in America do not experience positive outcomes for wages in the labor market.
No, that's exactly what the first paper I gave you goes over. Farmers and unskilled farmers, migrants.
Wait, but I asked you where in that paper. No, because I asked you where in that paper it says that like it doesn't have like a positive effect on wages, and then you pointed me towards the sentence that says, well, Ying Pan found evidence that it doesn't lead to like long-term positive outcomes on wages. We go to Ying Pan's paper, I read the abstract, and that's not said anywhere.
It's definitely said. Why would they cite it if it's not said anywhere?
I don't know. Why does anybody, right, like disseminate half-truths or yield false conclusions on the internet in random Word documents? Like, come on, dude.
It's not a random Word document.
Like you're literally arguing that because this random Word document says this thing, that therefore this thing is true. But even when we look at the work that it cites and we go to the abstract of the paper, it doesn't state that whatsoever. And if anything, suggests the opposite, that opposite being that migrants getting legal work status and then a green card has a significant positive effect on market outcomes.
So you think skilled migrants and unskilled migrants are the same and they get paid the same?
Well,
it's just not true.
So now you're strawmanning my position. All right, I'm going to say this for you one last time. You are strawmanning my position, right? Because you're saying that because Ying Pan concluded that there's positive market outcomes for skilled laborers, that therefore we have reason to believe that there's negative market outcomes for unskilled laborers, right? But this is like saying
maybe the paper you're looking at is basically only skilled workers.
Okay,
the paper I first gave you goes over unskilled workers.
So that's fair for you to suggest that Ying Pan's research likely only studies skilled laborers. However, you gave me Ying Pan's research to justify your conclusion that unskilled laborers do not have a positive impact on wages. And that's your issue.
I think we're looking at different things.
No, I'm not. I followed you. I went to the original paper titled Labor Market Effects of Immigrant Legalization in the Post-IRC Era. I followed you to like page 3, paragraph 2, where it says, if we look at Pan's research, we'll see that there's a marginal positive impact on real median wages immediately following mass amnesty, but they fizzle out over time. So then I went down to the bibliography of this paper that you gave me, found the citation for Ying Pan's research, looked it up on Google, found it on ideasrespect.org, read the abstract, and see how nowhere in the abstract does it go over a negative impact on wages in the long term following Ying Pan's research. I'm looking at the research that you gave me, my friend.
In he shows that it doesn't give any effect. Like, there's no effect on amnesty. There's no effect on amnesty. It doesn't lower, it doesn't higher, and any higher wages they did get dissipated over time.
Okay,
Like, what do you not
and where
get?
can I find that in Yingpan's research? Because obviously it's not in the abstract. So where is it in the paper?
Trying to find it for you. I mean, like, I'm the only person up here actually giving you sources, and you're trying to, like, say I'm stupid when there's
I never
multiple
said that you're
people
stupid.
saying
I appreciate you for trying to give me sources. That is something that you are doing that like 99% of other guests don't do, right? And I could like admit, I appreciate you for trying to go that extra step, but like even in going that extra step, you are now running into different issues than
Well,
most guests run
I
into.
just obviously I haven't read Ying Pan's his own paper. I've been reading things that discuss his paper,
Right.
which I
Right.
believe to mean
And you
that his
gotta.
paper is real. I don't think it's a made up paper. If somebody is citing it from a college, a known college, UCLA, and I just don't think that I would be making this up.
Okay, well, the Ying Pan abstract like seemingly doesn't indicate like any of the information that the paper that you cited says it does. In fact, it seems to indicate the opposite. So this is likely a misinterpretation via the author of the labor impact on wages of the in the post IRCA era, right? You know, it's like the first step is of course to like try to find like research to justify what you say, but then the next step is to ensure that that research, right, has like proper like it follows with like a proper evidence, methodology, so on and so forth, right? And I'd say that so far, right, you don't have a justified claim due to the fact that when we look at Ying Pan's paper, that is seemingly suggested nowhere in it.
Okay, here's one by Ying Pan. Amnesty have found to positively affect immigrants, high skilled immigrants with the ability to speak English versus immigrants who are unskilled. Why is it all broken up like this? Sorry. Okay.
By the way,
Amnesty
I also
has been
just want
found
to
to
let you know that
positively
like
affect
Ying Pan's paper was also done on like 80,000
farmers.
Chinese nationals residing in the U.S. on student or temporary visas or illegally following immigration from China post Tiananmen Square, right? So I mean, it doesn't even seem to be going over right mass
Yeah,
amnesty of
I
making them
cannot
residents or
find
citizens,
the
but it
paper
seems to
that
be
they cite.
be going over right like giving them like a temporary legal work status like we already do for undocumented immigrants in the country today. But like I mean I could already point out like one really big like methodological problem with this, right? Giving like an undocumented immigrant like a temporary work status is not the same thing as giving an undocumented immigrant a pathway to residency or citizenship. What I think reduces wages for undocumented immigrants, right, would be a lack of residency or citizenship, putting them under the threat of being deported, meaning that their long-term survivability in the American market is unclear, plus the fact that because they're undocumented, they can't access federal social safety nets or like most state benefits in like majority of states that are red, right? And that's what would reduce their bargaining power, leading to like lower wages on average. Simply giving them a legal work permit is not going to increase their bargaining power and account for the disparities between them, residents, and citizens. So like not only would I say that you have like insufficient evidence to demonstrate that your claim here is true, because like seemingly like Ying Pan's research yields a conclusion that giving them a legal work permit increases their wages. But I'd also argue here that this is like fundamentally different than offering them residency or citizenship, as it is just a simple work permit, which is something that we already do for undocumented immigrants. And as I already suggested, is not what I think is causing a disparity in wages, due to the fact that I don't think that's what is causing like lower bargaining power.
Okay, well, there's other studies on why. I mean, the IRCA, it would have been around still if it worked. Like I want it to be better. I want wages for unskilled people in general to be better. And I think the way that we're going around amnesty is not the right way, because it just promotes more crossings without better border protection.
Okay, so now you're like pivoting the claim. That's fine. If you want to move on, we could do that. But I want to try to stay on something that's a little bit more
I
conceptually
mean,
relevant.
I just can't find
Anxiety, thank you for the
the
keeper
source
baseball.
that they're citing in the original
I mean,
source
I
gave you.
did. Like I told you, it's on page 30. That's Yingpan's research. That's what they're citing. And it's just simply not what you want it to be. And that's unfortunate. But don't act like you can't find the research that they're citing, because you can find the research that they're citing. It just so happens to be that the research that they were citing didn't align with the conclusions that they derived from it in that sentence in the 50-page paper, right? Now something else, right? If you were like willing to say that it's okay to like violate the Constitution to apparently prevent lower wages, then how the hell do you feel about Donald Trump's big beautiful bill lowering the purchasing power of over half of Americans per the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities?
How is it doing that?
Yeah, by like significantly like eroding social safety nets, by kicking 10 million people off of Medicaid. And if the Republicans get their way within this newest funding bill, we're also going to be increasing the Medicaid premiums for everybody that is still on it by 75% per the Congressional Budget Office. Keep in mind, see how like I'm giving you my sources like proactively as we go?
No, I mean, I agree. I'm trying to do the same. I mean, I'm trying to be, give a good debate. But, I mean, I agree. I'm not 100% with the big, beautiful bill. But you're saying, like, since I'm on Medicaid right now, you're saying that it would be taken away from me before I'm 24 like it usually does?
Well, if you happen to be one of the 10 million Americans, sure. I don't know if you're one of them or not, but if it's not taken away from you, if you don't happen to be one of like the 10 million Americans that's going to lose Medicaid, right, your premiums are going to go up. Your premiums are going to go up if the Republicans get their way with the current budget bill, right? And that's going to reduce your purchasing power, which would have the same impact on your function in the market as a reduction in wages would, right? So answer this. If you're okay to violate the Constitution, annul the 14th Amendment to prevent an apparent reduction in wages on behest of immigrants, then how the fuck can you still support Trump as president, given the fact that he's literally reducing your purchasing power because you're on Medicaid, and if he gets his way with this new budget bill for the next year, your Medicaid premiums are expected to go up by the CBO by 75%. Wouldn't this be like all the reason in the world that you would need to stop supporting him, since he's personally going to be reducing your purchasing power?
How does that necessarily affect wages, though? That has nothing to do with wages.
No, it leads to the same outcome as a reduction in wages, which is a reduction in purchasing power. Wages are only
Not if
relevant
wages
insofar as the
rise.
purchasing power that it gives you.
But not if wages rise, it would have no effect.
Is Donald Trump going to make your wages rise to account for like the 75% increase in your Medicaid premiums? Are you saying that he's just going to like,
I'm not
cancel
saying
it
he
out?
would, but I'm saying we are in the like wages have been going up.
Right, including
at
under
least
the
for me and
Biden-Harris
my area.
administration at 4.8% is what we saw is a real median increase in wages. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I read that we had the biggest real median wages under Trump.
No, actually, in his first term, they rose by 2.8%, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis and the U.S. Economic Bureau. And the Biden-Harris administration, they rose by 4.8%. You could prove me right by literally going on Google, typing in real median wages, FRED, look at the graph, do the calculus, and you'll be like, damn, Dean's right.
So you're saying the real purchasing power was better under Biden?
Yeah, well, I'm saying that there's a larger increase in real median wages under the Biden-Harris administration than there was under Trump in his first term, by like 2%. Maybe while you're looking at that, I'm going to go and thank a handful of others as well. Randy, thank you so much for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. That is so incredibly kind of you. It's good to see you. Oh my God. Let's get 500 Randy W's. That is RANDI. Randy did not leave a message, only the love. Randy, that is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much. As well as Amelia with a $50 on super chat. Amelia says, thank you for all that you do. And I am Mexican American, born here in the US, and people are so ignorant when it comes to undocumented people and how much they do here. Yeah, it's because the GOP wants them to be ignorant. And instead of talking about like their economic impact, they'd like rather talk about, right, like false stereotypes saying that they're violent. It's just so incredibly like derogatory, dehumanizing, and evil in my mind. Thank you so much for the $50, Amelia. Please show some love to Amelia and Randy down below in the chat. And in fact, show some even more love to Randy in the chat, because we have another $50 super chat from them. Once again, with no message. Randy, holy fuck, you were so incredibly kind. Thank you for the $100 on YouTube super chat. And Amelia, thank you for the 50. Lady Teapot, thank you so much for the 10. I really appreciate everyone so much for all the love today. Let me see if there's anybody else that I'm missing over on Venmo or PayPal. Let's see. Over on PayPal, Michael, thank you so much for the $50. Huge shout out to Michael down below in that chat. Michael says, "You rock. Tell Maga I said to get pushed." Let's go, Michael. 500 Michael W's. Thank you so much for your kindness, man. As well as Casey, thank you so much for the $4 over on PayPal. Thank you so much, Casey. Let's see here. Let's see if we got anyone on Venmo. We do. Mac, thank you for the $15 over on Venmo. Mac with the $15 says thank you for all that you do. I'm a mailman and you help the day go by. I always listen to you while I'm working. That's awesome, Mac. I know these streams can really make the day go by fast. I listen to these streams when like I'm driving, for instance, and they make the drive so much more enjoyable. As well as Madeline, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. As well as Mary, thank you for the $10 on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Mary, Madeline, Mac. All of y'all are so awesome. Anyways, Chris, is there anything else that you want to go over before I move on to the next guest?
I mean, it is saying here that purchasing power was better under Trump. Not real median wages, but purchasing power, which is what really matters.
Okay. Well, we were having a conversation about real median wages. If you want to shift the conversation to purchasing power, we can. Like, I wouldn't doubt
it's the same thing.
Okay. Well,
it's damn near the same thing.
Okay. Well,
if you can buy more stuff with less money, it's better than having more money and not being able to buy.
You would think that like real like median purchasing power would be the same thing as real median wages. So that is interesting that we'd see like a different in calculus for real median purchasing power and real median wages. I'd have to look into like what the difference in calculus is. But like I don't mind just granting that to you, right? Because we wouldn't be able to attribute any reasons to the Biden-Harris administration as far as causing that reduction of purchasing power. But I guess that's just interesting. You know, like what is the difference between the calculus for real median wages and real median purchasing power?
I don't know the difference, but it is definitely saying that Trump, you can buy more with less money. That's what it means.
Right. But that should be like what we consider to be real median wages. So it's interesting that there's a different calculus for it.
But it's not.
Okay. Yeah, I know. And I'll grant that to you without even looking it up.
Well, because do you understand how it's not? Because inflation was higher under Biden. So even though he didn't cause it, I don't say that.
Real means accounting for inflation. Real means accounting for inflation.
Well, then I don't know how they're getting this.
Me neither, right? But I mean, I'll accept it, like whatever. I don't know. That'd be pretty interesting to look into after the stream, if true, right?
I mean, we never talked about immigration.
The Biden-Harris administration probably didn't cause it, but anything else, man? Before I move on to my next guest here, you've been up here for a while.
Yeah. Immigration, mass immigration leads to lower wages.
Man, Chris, this is what we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes, and the conclusion was you being unable to prove it.
Well,
and the
George J. Borges will tell you.
Mr. Borges. Okay, well, I think I enjoyed the last 30 minutes going over Ying Pan's research with you. So I'm just going to move on to the next guest. Let's go get Brody up in the box here. Hop in the queue if you happen to support Trump. Trying to spending 30 minutes trying to convince you how Ying Pan's research didn't indicate that what you're saying was true was definitely enough of you for the day, Mr. Chris. Let's go get that next Trump supporter loaded up in here. Everyone in the chat is spamming Jose. Who is Jose? I'd love to find him. We could get him up in here. This guy's name is Jose. Oh, that's not Jose. This is Fishing Man 67. Fishing Man, hop back in the queue. I'm going to try to get Jose up here because everybody in the chat wants me to. I did see somebody by the name of Jose in that queue. While we're looking for him, folks, make sure that we're double tapping away in that phone screen and sharing out this live with a handful of friends. I'm going to give it another 20 seconds to identify Jose in the queue again. The queue is really fast at moving. It is really hard to isolate one person to get them up here. But Jose, if you are watching, go ahead and just spam the chat for me because that way I could just invite you from the chat. Right? And got him. Here we go. Got him. Perfect. Love, thank you so much for the $10 on Super Chat. I appreciate you for the love. Show some love to love down below in that chat. Thank you so much. What's up, Jose? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, man. But real quick, can you just check your mods because they're muting me twice for no reason?
I'm sorry if the mods muted you for no reason. How old are you?
20 years old.
And what time is it for you?
4:30 p.m.
4:30 p.m. What state are you in?
Pennsylvania.
What is one state that borders Pennsylvania?
Flipping. I just moved there 2 years ago. I don't know.
What's the capital of Pennsylvania?
Harrisburg, something like that.
It sounds true. I don't know if it is. What was
Harrisburg?
Who did Pennsylvania end up voting for in the 2024 election?
Trump. It was like 57%, 52%, something
Capital
like that.
of Pennsylvania. It is Harrisburg. Chat, should we trust it? I'll leave it up to the chat.
I want to chat to you about abortion, if that's okay.
1 second. Well, let me. Everyone, okay, people in the chat are saying he's legit. Yes. Some people are saying no. A lot of people saying yes. A lot of people saying no.
They were all spamming my name.
I'll let it
If you read the chat.
I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide. You gave some reason to believe that like you're in the UK because you couldn't name any states that border Pennsylvania, but you also gave some reason to believe that you're actually in Pennsylvania because you knew the capital and you knew the outcome of it in the 2024 election. I'd say it's a flip of the coin. I'll trust you. So you support Trump because of immigration? Sorry, not immigration, because of abortion?
No, for many reasons. But I do think he's not a great person. Obviously, what he did back in the day, raping someone, all that stuff. He is a human being at the end of the day. Everyone does the problems. Everyone does crimes.
Wait, so you're saying that he raped a woman because at the end of the day, he's a human being?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying
are you like literally trying to like humanize rapists?
No, see, you're trying to fit my words. I said that he did something wrong, like everyone else does something wrong, but I'm not saying he did something wrong, and that's okay.
I wouldn't say that what Donald Trump has done wrong falls into the same categories of the things that I've done wrong. And if you'd argue that they do, I think that you're significantly undermining the wrongness of rape, sexual abuse, sexual assault, sexual exploitation, so on and so forth.
At the end of the day, every wrong is equal because serving a sentence is different because that's very subjective. You know, every sentence is different in every state, but every wrong is equal at the end of the day.
Everyone is equal?
But my point is...
Wait, when you say everyone is equal, what does that mean?
I said everyone is equal. Yes, that is true. But I said every wrong is equal.
Every wrong is equal?
Yes, that is true. Every sin is
That's insane
every
to
sin
believe.
is equal.
That's absolutely preposterous to believe.
Well, in the eyes of God, yes, it's true.
So you'd say it's like equally wrong to tell a white lie as it is to grape a woman.
It is a sin, yes, and you should confess about it.
Yeah, that's fucking insane.
Well, I know, because
I have a question.
You have
real quick.
human thoughts.
What's blasphemy?
Saying stuff against the Holy Spirit, against God.
And the Bible says that blasphemy is like the one unforgivable sin. So that's a one sin that's not equal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, who do you think has done the worst thing? Me, if I were to blaspheme the Holy Spirit, or Hitler for committing the Holocaust?
Both are equal as bad because both are sins in front of God. No one can judge who has the highest sin because of what they've done, but it's true that every sin is equal in the eyes of God. One can be a horrible person.
The Bible actually says that blasphemy is like the one unforgivable sin. So, like using
if you want to take it out of context,
using your standard, you'd actually say that I'd be worse for blaspheming the Holy Spirit than Hitler was for committing the Holocaust. But even like accepting your notion here that they're both equal, you're crazy.
No, because if you want to take out of context, yeah, sure, that what you said is right. But if you want to say that,
would you rather Hitler commit the Holocaust or Hitler tell a lie to get into art school?
Well, would I rather? Neither. What kind of question is that?
Would you say that like those two things are equally as wrong?
Well, so he's a kid lying. Well, kids lie because they don't know what's right and wrong. You're comparing a grown man.
I said art school, meaning he'd be like 18 going to college.
He's still immature. He's not fully grown. His brain doesn't have developed until 25, doesn't it?
So are you saying that the sins of 18-year-olds are not like morally culpable to God?
No, I'm saying a fully developed person knows what's right and what's wrong, but an undeveloped person knows what's wrong, doesn't know what's right. So they will mistakenly do bad things. But a grown person does something wrong, knows that they've done something wrong. That's where they come back from it and apologize, and they confess about it, and then they repent, and then they become a good person. If not, they will see hell. They will see the burning.
So if like Hitler came to you and apologized for the Holocaust, would you accept his apology?
He doesn't apologize to me. He apologizes to the people that he affected. He apologizes to God for what he's done to his people.
Do you think that an apology to the people he affected... Well, he can't because he killed 12 million people. He can't apologize to dead people that he killed, slaughtered, and genocided.
Well, the number's subjective. I'm not going to argue how many people he killed.
The number... I see where this is going. Okay. So step one was to say that it's just as wrong to lie as it is for Hitler to commit the Holocaust. Step two is to say that the number is subjective. What's step number 3? To deny it altogether? And then step number 4 is say you're a Nazi? Are you like one of the Catholic Nazis? Are you a groiper?
Can I speak?
No. Now you can.
I'm gonna respect you because it's your life. I'm not gonna go against your word. So I'm gonna just say this now that what I'm saying is the number's subjective because people say different numbers every day. I don't care what the number is. One killing one person is equivalent to killing billions of.
Okay. We're gonna go to kick him and move on, guys. I don't know. I think that level of rhetoric is like something I shouldn't platform. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Right? Can we agree on that? You know, it's like probably a bad thing to like platform somebody that's like saying, oh, it's just as wrong to genocide 12 million people as it is to lie. Right? Shouldn't platform that. We're gonna go to move on. What's up, Nick? Do you support Trump?
I do.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 36.
All right, Nick. Quickly before we hop into our debate, let me go and thank a handful of people. Appreciate you for being here, Nick. Looking forward to our discussion. Just really quickly, Mark, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo, saying long time no talk, buddy. Are you getting back into theology debates? Would love to chat again from Brody. Oh, fuck, Brody. Dude, it'd be cool to catch up with you, man. I'd love to dabble my toe back in the theology debates. If I see you live, I might join. It's been a while since I've been in them. I hope you're well, man. Appreciate you for the $10, Brody. As well as Brooklyn. Thank you so much for the $25 over on Venmo. Thank you so much, Brooklyn. Brooklyn with the 25 bucks, says Dean. Thanks not only for providing me with entertainment when I'm working and cleaning, but also for inspiring me through your knowledge, patience, and values. Thank you so much, Brooklyn. I'm really happy that you enjoy the streams, and I'm happy that you take something really positive away from them. Let's get 250 Brooklyn W's in that chat, as well as Aubrey. Thank you for the $10 on Venmo. And Fabian, thank you so much for the $50 over on PayPal. Holy fuck, let's get 500 Fabian W's. That is Fabian. Fabian with the 50 bucks says Trump is a dictator. Say no to kings. You know what? To roll off with that, I'm going to need y'all all to say no to kings on October 18th at your local No Kings Day protest 2.0. I'm going to be at mine. You should be at yours. Fabian, seriously, thank you so much for the 50 bucks. As well as Haley, thank you so much for the $32 on PayPal, saying making my day brighter. I am in the UK. Listen, Haley, all the love to you, all the love to you, UK. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm happy that the streams make your day brighter. And thank you for the $32, as well as Isaiah. Thank you for the $4 on PayPal. Christian with a 4, and Annalie with a 5. Thank you guys so much. Go ahead and take it away, man. Tell us why you support Trump.
Hey, Dean. First, I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity to talk. And while we may disagree on some points, I want to compliment you that you are a fantastic debater. So I'm totally ready to get butchered in this. I mainly support not necessarily Trump 100%, because as is stated, there has been some errors in his way. But by supporting Trump, you do support the Republican Party. And right now, that's who they've chosen to be their figurehead. And I agree with a majority of their talking points. Mainly the idea of making America strong again, or as we can be, and strengthening our manufacturing basis, as you talked about already today.
Okay, well, talking about like the strength of America, I think that in order to have a strong America, we are going to first have to, well, let me restart. I think in order to have a strong country from the outside, on like the global stage or internationally, we first have to ensure that we have a strong country on the inside, right? Domestically.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
And I'd say right now, Donald Trump is doing like literally everything in his power to prevent a strong country domestically, right? Because strength comes with unity. Strength comes with organizing. Strength comes with sticking together, right?
Sure.
And right now we see the opposite of unity. We see the most division I've ever seen in my life, excluding January 6th, right? You know, we see Trump declaring war on American cities. We see Donald Trump considering invoking the Insurrection Act. We see Donald Trump now calling for the arrest of J.B. Pritzker in Illinois. We see Donald Trump deploying the military in Memphis, Chicago, and Portland, Oregon, and giving them an illegal directive to arrest protesters, even though the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878 prevents them from functioning as a domestic law enforcement agency. Right? And I'd say these things really weaken the country domestically. And because we have a weak country domestically, I just don't know how we could keep up the image of having a strong country internationally.
That I will agree to. I would say, though, as somebody that holds the office of the presidency, I would think they're tasked daily with making tough decisions. Either one, lesser of two evils, not going to be a right. And how do you ensure safety without maintaining order?
Okay, how do you ensure safety without maintaining order? Well, I think that maintaining order would be necessary for national security and safety, and I think that Donald Trump has been eroding order through his actions. Right, it eroded order when he violated the first, called for termination of the second, violated the 14th, and called for termination of the 22nd Amendment. Right, that caused disorder via civil unrest and good trouble protesting his attempted kingship. Right, I think that he's
And like you
actively
said,
eroding order.
correct. And the SCOTUS has put a stop to some of those uh, um, orders that he's tried to pass through, right? So our system is checking his power.
Well, it is begrudgingly, and he's fighting that check. Like we had a judge rule in Oregon that he couldn't legally deploy the National Guard, and then what did Stephen Miller call it? A legal insurrection, causing more disorder because when his presidency is checked because he's going out of bounds and doing illegal and unconstitutional things, and he gets checked by the courts, right? He has his number one fascist, Stephen Miller, go out and call it a legal insurrection and say that Donald Trump has a plenary authority to do whatever he wants on CNN.
But is that not the definition of politics? As you say with Joe Biden, when he first tried to pass the student loan forgiveness, he just found a different legal way to go about it.
But when Biden found a different legal way to go about it, he respected the facts that the court checked him and didn't call it a legal insurrection and fire the judges.
Okay, true. So there was some poor usage and wording there. I will not deny that in the Trump administration, that they definitely should spend a little more time choosing their words wisely. And I will agree there's some arrogance at play there. Some of that probably, I think, I myself, as a supporter of the Republican Party and the candidate that they chose, I did vote for him both times, accepted a little fact that this guy has been a New York businessman most of his life, is not polished around the edges. And so, in fact, he's the exact opposite of that.
Right.
He's definitely rough.
One last thing that I just thought of here to continue a conversation of like civil disorder and a lack of unity in America, right? Like obviously Donald Trump labeling anti-fascists as terrorists is going to cause civil unrest, right? And I think it should cause civil unrest because why is our president saying that you're a terrorist if you don't endorse fascism?
But this is going to date it farther back, but would that be the equivalent to, let's say, Abraham Lincoln's administration labeling Southern secessionists as a threat to our republic?
No, I don't understand how that would label, how those two things would be equivalent unless you think that our republic is inherently fascist. So anybody who would oppose said fascism would be like an attempt to secede or overthrow our government.
I mean, more or less just a threat to the order.
Okay, if you want to call being anti-fascist a threat to the order of this country, you're implicitly stating that the order of this country is relying on fascism.
No. I'm not saying not fascism at all.
Okay,
I'm saying.
So then why would being anti-fascist be a threat to the order?
I'm saying pick anything to be what you want to support.
Well, I mean, shouldn't being anti-fascist be the order? Shouldn't the order of a constitutional republic rooted on the overthrow of a kingship be anti-fascist?
Absolutely, if it's done in a safe, legal, orderly manner.
Okay, so things that are not safe and are not legal and are not orderly are a threat to this country.
I wouldn't say a threat to the country, but a threat to the population, which then could be a threat to the country.
Not safe, not legal, not orderly. Was Donald Trump being safe, legal, and orderly when he committed 34 felonies, raped E. Jean Carroll, stole classified documents and hid them in Mar-a-Lago, or boasted about a false value of his property, which led to him being held civilly liable in a New York court? Was he being safe, legal, and orderly when he denied renting to black applicants for his properties in 1973 that led to the New York State Justice Department to sue him? Was he being safe, legal, and orderly when he caused an insurrection upon the American government, then launched the Trump fake elector plot and tried to steal and rig the election from Biden in 2020?
I would agree not.
I honestly think that you just articulated the three reasons why I despise him so much. He's not safe, he's not legal, and he's not orderly, and that poses a great threat to this country as well as the people within it. Honestly, I think that is a really good way to sum up my thoughts about Trump, and I appreciate you for giving me the words to finally express myself in such a succinct manner.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. You got me in a corner on that one. I will say the documents, I believe, are a little bit of a stretch, but that's a small case into all the points you brought up. I feel like that's just a scale of being president and who can keep track of all those documents.
Oh, well, the thing is that we had his aides admit to intentionally concealing them and hiding them in the bathroom at his Mar-a-Lago residence while the FBI was searching it. I don't
By
think
his
that was a
directive or
stretch
by
at
their
all.
own directive?
Well, I'd imagine it'd be something to do with him because it's his property, right?
Sure, it is. But you're an aide that's working for this guy. Are you not concerned for your job? And you're maybe inflecting your own choice in that and saying, hey, I should hide these documents because it may be my job. He may fire me after the fact. Doesn't make it right. It was intent. If he intently says, hey, go hide these documents, then that I have a problem with. Sure.
Well, wouldn't he just see the documents in the bathroom when he was taking a shit? Like, we got to remember, it's his house, it's his residence, it's his property, it's his bathroom, right? Like, how could his like aides that work for him unknowingly, intentionally conceal classified documents in his house? I feel like that's preposterous to suggest.
But a man with like in his means, the several houses he has, how often is he even in that bathroom?
Well, I mean,
like
I think
you
that
see Mar-a-Lago
was his main residence.
Sure, but what I'm saying about it is like, look at it operates as its own entity, right? It's he's lucky to be at that level, but they hold events when the man's not even present. Like how much of us, many Americans, their own house hosts events when you're not even home? Like, obviously that's the power rollers he's with. That's going down a tangent.
Well, I mean, I could look into this. I think I remember hearing something about Donald Trump having something to do with this. Because I'm finding it right now. So this is coming from August 31st, 2022. Donald Trump testified to the fact that he had declassified all of the documents at Mar-a-Lago. And I think that inevitably was proven wrong, right? But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because that proves that he knew about the documents at Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I definitely think he knew about the documents, no doubt. Okay. But I think the volume of documents that a president would...
He knew about the classified documents that were kept at Mar-a-Lago. Therefore, that completely disputes and refutes the narrative that his aides were doing it behind his back.
No. I mean, by knowing about it, delegate that to, yes, he has aides that take care of documents. He has documents. He's been president for 4 years. I mean, there's got to be a boatload of documents. I mean, any of us in corporate America, we think emails, like we get thousands of emails a day. I'm sure you get loads of documents.
We're talking about the classified documents. He specifically knew about the classified documents at Mar-a-Lago following the termination of his first presidency. And my evidence is because he said he thought he declassified them.
But I'm saying there's a volume to that, right? If a president's getting a briefing every day, that's a classified document, 365 days a year, 4 years. He's got a lot of classified documents to go through. That's why he has aides.
I'm kind of unsure of I'm unsure of the point that you're trying to communicate to me right now, right? I think that my point is that I think he knew about the documents because he admitted he knew about the documents. And the documents were being concealed on his property by his staff. I think that means that he knew that they were being concealed at his property by his staff.
Yeah, I'll concede that. Because I'll say this, if he even didn't give a direct directive, if the staff thinks that as a leader, then he's gave that opinion that these should be taken special care of, whether hidden or what have you. So he set the narrative that they should probably be hidden, right. Which is probably not that accurate. But that kind of goes down a rabbit hole. Are
there any other reasons why you support Trump?
The main one for me, honestly, was back on manufacturing. Not a big fan of the tariffs, but I like that at least he's got the country in people's eyes and people talking about manufacturing.
Yeah, the whole economy, including manufacturing, is going to shit right now. But if we want to focus on just manufacturing, for the last 2.5 years of the Biden-Harris administration, we had a boom in investment in American manufacturing. Since Donald Trump won the election in the first 3 quarters of 2025, we've seen a very significant reduction in investment into American manufacturing for the first time in years.
But would you agree that something as large as manufacturing in this country, it takes time to shift, and maybe even 8 months is not enough time to see the outcome of policies?
Well, for sure. Like, I would argue that maybe if we continue to see an uptick, right, that you could say that we won't see the full force of the gravity of the great policy of the Trump administration for a while. But it's not that we've just seen a continued uptick. We've seen a significant reduction that has followed every quarter, right? For the first time in years. Seriously, the first time we've seen a reduction in investment in American manufacturing since the end of Donald Trump's first term. Under the Biden-Harris administration, it increased literally every single quarter. Donald Trump walks in, vast reductions every quarter so far.
What increases in manufacturing? What sectors of manufacturing? Just curious. That add to that statistic for the Biden-Harris administration.
Non-residential structures for manufacturing. So like manufacturing facilities, manufacturing structures, like maybe the
houses.
Actual manufacturing gear itself. Not houses, or at least not residential houses.
Okay. I would argue that was a contribution to coming off post-COVID and what the housing market's done, as far as increasing.
Right. Yeah. It's non-residential manufacturing structures, according to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis.
Okay. That's interesting. I definitely want to look into that some more. Like I said, I was prepared to be butchered for this because I'm definitely not 100% prepared for this. I'm just debating my overall feelings as a Trump or Republican supporter. I think there is a problem with manufacturing this company. I think China and India are tough competitors, and I'm not sure how this country ever gets back on a solid footing.
Oh, by doing what the Biden-Harris administration did, subsidizing our own producers. Yeah, that's what we do. Government subsidies, smart government subsidies are awesome, right? Smart government
subsidies get expensive, don't they?
Well, subsidies generate an ROI, so you shouldn't think about it in the sense of its immediate expense, but rather its long-term yield for the American economy. Like I'd say, in part, what contributed to the massive boom and an increase in investment into American manufacturing under the Biden-Harris administration was the original expense of the $35 billion on the CHIPS and Science Act, right? But that expense of the $35 billion played a key role in causing, right, our quarterly real fixed investment in American manufacturing to go from $64 billion at the beginning of their administration to $151 billion at the end of their administration, marking the highest quarterly investment into American business ever.
But with that, we see companies such as Wolfspeed that are in that market tanking.
Okay, sometimes businesses fail. That's capitalism.
That is true. That is capitalism. But that's, when subsidized, that's a big waste of, some could say, taxpayers' money. Where if they were having to seek their own revenue, that's on them. That's on their investors to answer to. But we are the American people. We're the investors.
Right. That's why you want to make. That's why you want to make like smart, diversified investments, right?
100%.
That's why you don't just give subsidies to one company. You give subsidies to an industry.
Sure. I could agree with that.
Right. Anything else that you want to go over before I move on to my next guest?
No, I, again, appreciate the time. Sorry I wasn't better prepared for the debate.
You have a good one, man. Emma, appreciate you for the $10 over on Super Chat saying, Dean, I had a debate in history at my school today, and thank you, and thanks to the skills I learned through your live, I was able to do great, and my teacher said I won. Yo, dude, that's awesome, Emma. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Emma. Emma says, thank you for everything that they do. Well, I think that's so cool that you watch these lives and you're able to take away enough to cook in your history class. Shout out to you. That's fantastic. Seriously. As well as, let's see here, Vivian, thank you so much for the $3 over on PayPal. And Liz, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo. Liz says, I'm a recovering Republican and Roman Catholic. Thank you for helping me have information I need to talk with my friends and family about. Liz, thank you for the $20. And it's funny because when I was younger, I was also a Republican and Roman Catholic. We have very similar backgrounds. Yeah, I'm really happy that, very similar to myself, you were able to break out of that very dangerous cycle of gibberish and generation of harm. Thank you so much for the $20, Liz. Huge shout out to Liz. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
Awesome, man. Let me go ahead and thank a handful of others here. Because, oh my God, Dan, thank you so much for the $100 donation over on Venmo. Jeez, Dan, that is so fucking kind of you. That is so generous of you. Show some love to Dan for the $100 down below in that chat. Dan, all the love to you in the world, my friend. Dan with $100 says, keep up the good work. Dan, I will never stop. That is still, seriously, like I've already said like a handful of times, so kind of you. Thank you for the $100, Dan. Thank you. As well as Zoe with the $5 saying, was Trump being safe, legal, and orderly when he lied about the Epstein files a million different times? Of course not, Zoe. Thank you for the $5. As well as Patrick 13 minutes ago. Thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Patrick says, did you see that the Chicago mayor signed an executive order designating places and private businesses that they want to use ICE-free zones, meaning ICE cannot legally go into the zones? I did. Fucking base as hell. I hope the order stands. As well as Karen, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love. And Kim, thank you for the $5 on PayPal saying, I think that you're awesome, Dean. Thank you, Kim. And Safia with the €5 on Super Chat saying that you were awesome. So are you, Safia. Thank you for the €5. If you're watching and you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok and in the pinned message on YouTube. I'll obviously be able to give you a shout out and even read out an attached message if you send one. And I really appreciate everyone for the love. Go ahead and take it away, man. Tell us why you are pro-Trump.
Well, I think he's good for businesses, big and small. I think in the long run, I think you'll see a lot of benefits. I know that for my business personally, I've seen a really big uptick in traffic going to a lot of our income has raised, especially whenever, you know, uh, I feel like he's made a big push for businesses like mine.
Okay. All right, man. So my business has also seen a huge uptick since the beginning of Donald Trump's second administration. Did Donald Trump cause my business to have a big uptick because of his good policy? No. In fact, that'd be egregious to suggest. If anything, Donald Trump has caused an uptick to my business through his bad policy, because that's what I talk about all day. So you can't just basically assume because you're doing well that therefore the president is causing you to do well.
Well, actually, the thing is that really every time he speaks, it's like, I mean, look, I'll tell you, last time that there was a Republican National Convention.
One second, mods in that poll, dude, in that poll, mods. I don't know. One second, go ahead.
I was gonna say, last time that there was a Republican National Convention, there was so much traffic to our website that it crashed.
Okay, what do you do for work?
I work for Grindr.
He was going for the long shot, going for the long troll. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Let's go to get Steve loaded up into the box. He was in it for the long run. He was in it for the punchline, for the Jesus Christ. What's up? Do you support Trump, Steve? He was really setting that joke up for a while. Steve, are you here, my friend? Okay, Steve's not here. We're going to move on to the next guest. We got Noah loading up. Here we go, guys. By the way, I had it in that poll. I had it in that poll just because of the Avada Kedavra. I had it in that poll. Dude. Yeah, if I didn't in that poll, I would have been on Fox News. Okay, I would have been on Fox News, chat. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here. This guy's name is Trump 2028 and forever. Okay.
Very much. Okay.
That sounds like a kid. I'm gonna kick him. We're gonna move on to the next guest. We got. Let's see who's next. We got Greg loading up in here. I think. I don't know who I clicked on. Honestly, I never really knew. Yo, Kiefer. Thank you for the $30 over on Venmo. Huge shout out to you, Kiefer. Thank you for the $30. Let's get 300 Kiefer W's down below. Kiefer says Trump is live at a roundtable discussing Antifa, and that Antifa is now labeled as a terrorist organization. Is it interesting enough to tune into on live? Thank you for the $30, Keith. I also really appreciate you for letting me know. Show some love to Keith. As well as Christina. Thank you for the $25 over on Venmo. Christina says, I would not consider myself a liberal, but you've opened my eyes and changed my mind about so many conservative things that I no longer consider myself a conservative. Keep doing what you're doing and educating our youth. Well, Christina, I gotta give you props, because if the streams have been able to convince you to go from conservative to non-conservative, I bet if you watch for another couple months, it'll convince you to go from non-conservative to definitely liberal. Thank you for the $25, Christina, and I'm really happy to hear that I've been able to help in changing your mind. As well as Tessa, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Tessa says, do you have a recommendation for best place to donate to help in Gaza? Well, I mean, this is probably my personal bias, but I really like PCRA, I believe is the name of the charity. It's organized by A couple of like my really good friends that I know do great things for Gaza. Like Tommy Marcus, who's actually just on the flotilla with Greta, is the head organizer of PCRA. They also had Miss Rachel on board, and I was even involved over on Instagram for a while. So appreciate you for the $5, Tessa, as well as William. Thank you for the $5 on Venmo as well. All right, what's up, Tyler? Do you support Trump?
I'm more of an independent. I just wanted to say you look very good today, Dean.
Hey, man. Appreciate you, man. Let's go and move on to the next guest. Your back's looking crazy in that profile picture, bro. Keep it up. Let's go and get that next guest loaded up in here. Everyone in the chat is saying tune in. Let's go and pull it up. I might have to like turn it off after a while, though. No promises. Yeah, this is President Trump roundtable on Antifa. Honestly, I kind of do want to watch that. It's like specifically talk about Antifa. I gotta know. Like, we gotta tune in. We're gonna do this for a little bit.
Get some good points out. I just want to thank the people around the table in particular. You've been amazing. You've been brave. You're real patriots. And at some point, we're going to have to look into, at least in certain cases, rewarding you with some very important medals and honors, okay, as we have done and will be doing with Charlie Kirk. You know, Charlie is getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is our highest award outside of the Congressional Medal of Honor. And I think they're sort of even. One's civilian and one's military. But unfortunately, the civilian sometimes is military also because of what we have to go through on the streets of this country. I can only tell you this: we have a great nation. We have a nation that's right now the hottest in the entire world. We're the hottest nation in the world, despite all of the things we've been saying today. But that's going to make your job easier because nobody's doing better than we are financially. We've never done better. We've had, I think, 58 stock market increases since I've been top, meaning record increases. We have never seen anything like it, and we're going to keep it going. That makes it a little bit easier for what we're doing. I guess maybe it also makes some people crazy because they don't want to see us do well. But we're the hottest nation anywhere in the world, and we were a dead nation 1 year ago. I say it all the time.
Every macroeconomic variable is better a year ago. Inflation, GDP growth, unemployment, it's dead, right? It was better.
Dead nation, now we're the hottest nation in the world, and that's said to by every leader. One of the reasons that we have every country already signed up or just about to sign, every country in the world on this whole mess we have going over with Hamas in the Middle East and all of the things you see, is they respect our nation. A year ago, you wouldn't have been able to get it. You certainly couldn't have gotten it with Biden. You didn't know where the hell he was. But a year ago, you wouldn't have been able to have a situation like this. So I just want to thank the people around this table, and certainly the officials around the table, because they've been incredible. They've been brave. And I watched yesterday, Pam, and I watched a little bit. I thought it was so good. I rounded up and I watched it late in the evening because I thought you were...
He's talking about Pam Body's appearance in front of Congress yesterday. She failed to answer nearly every question that she was asked, made a massive embarrassment out of herself.
Fair questions, and you had some real slime balls. But I thought you were amazing, so thank you very much. And Christy, thanks for the great job. Cash, thanks for the great job. Always my man back down there. He's the silent type, but he's a hell of a lawyer. Thank you all. We're going to get peace in the Middle East. That's what we want to do. Thank you very much, everybody.
Oh, damn it. I only caught the end. I wish we would have caught like the round table on Antifa part. But honestly, like I'd probably assume that like the remainder of that was very similar to what we just watched, where he's just like fucking lying, dude. See, okay, we talk about this often, but like the reason why I believe that Donald Trump won the election and continues to be a popular candidate for so many Americans is because of his willingness to lie and like convincingly, in the sense that he doesn't care that he's lying and he's willing to do whatever it takes to convince people of his lies. And yeah, I think that's why we still have so many people that support him. Libby, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube. Libby asks, why does he always use the word hot? Maybe because it's never something he was called by his peers. Let's go ahead and get that next Trump supporter loaded up in, since at this point, I guess we're going to head back into the debate, since, that was short and sweet, and we tuned in at the end, unfortunately. Quickly before we do, Kimber, thank you for the $10 on Venmo saying I love you and your stream, Dean. Thank you, Kimber. All the love to you as well as Lucas. Thank you for the $20 on PayPal. Lucas says, hey, Dean, my dad was a hardcore MAGA motherfucker, lol, and after watching your stream the last 3 streams, he is now against Trump. Lucas, if you're watching this, all the love in the world to you for showing the stream to your father. And Lucas's father, if you're watching this, all the love in the world to you for opening your eyes. That's fucking awesome. Show some love to Lucas and Lucas's dad down below in that chat, as well as show some love to Joseph down below for the $20 donation on PayPal as well. Joseph didn't leave a message and only the love. Shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for the $20. It's so incredibly kind. All right, back to the debates. Hop in that queue if you are an American adult that is pro-Trump. We'll get you connected and loaded in, quite frankly. I'm honestly feeling good today. We're having a good day, and we are midway through our stream. We have around another 2 hours left. Maybe I'll even see if we could get Parker on here to co-host for a little bit, since I might have to use a restroom soon. Okay, Nick Sloan is loading into the stream. It doesn't look like he's going to load in, so we're also going to try to get Mean Green Machine loaded in. Nick, what's up? Do you support Trump? Nick, you got 5 seconds.
Not really.
Child. Mean Green Machine, are you MAGA? Hello?
Oh, my bad. My bad. Yo, yeah, I'm MAGA.
Okay, you are? How old are you?
Personally, I hate as well.
Okay, we're going to go and quickly ban you. Move on to the next guest. We got Jose Ortiz loading into the stream. Everyone, do give us a minute to get that next guest loaded up in here. In the meantime, Camp, thank you so much for the $100 super chat over on YouTube. Thank you so much for the love, Camp. Camp with $100 says, keep up the good fight. Thank you so much for the love, Camp. That is incredibly kind of you, and it's so good to see you again. Thank you so much for your kindness. Please show some love to Camp down below in that chat while we're working on getting that next guest loaded into the box right now. Thank you so much, Camp. That is incredibly generous of you.
Thank you so much, Camp.
You.
That is incredibly generous of you. Thank you so much, Camp. That is incredibly...
The echo's gone. Interesting. What's up, Wilson? Do you support Trump? Wilson is not here. Moving on. Quite frankly, we're going to go to get that next guest, Snowy27, connected. And oh my God, dude. Kai, thank you so much for the $100. Sorry, not the $100.
Ow, Maverick, no.
Hi, Snowy. Do you support Trump? I think Maverick got Snowy. Snowy's not with us anymore. Maverick got him.
No, my bad. That's my dog.
Oh, Snowy, you're still with us. Awesome. What's up, Snowy? Do you support Trump?
I didn't know you chose me. That was my dog, bro. He was biting my feet.
Are you MAGA?
Yeah.
Can we get some Mavericks in that chat? Can we get some Mavericks down below? Oh. Snowy didn't like that one. He left. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute to get our next guest up here. Camden with the 50 cent saying breaking news. Camden. Why do these echoes keep on getting me? Dude, Jeff, what's up? Do you support Trump?
I do.
Okay, before we hop into a debate, I got a couple people to thank. I've been trying to thank a couple people, but the echoes keep on interrupting me. Just give me a second here. Kai, thank you so much for the $50 donation over on Venmo. Kai with the $50, thank you, man. Kai says we've been moving from Ohio to Oregon, and your streams have been helping us through the drive. Thank you so much for educating. Yo, shout out to Kai and everybody who's with Kai in the car. I think that's awesome that you guys are tuning in, and I hope that it's making the drive a little bit less painful. But I'd imagine it's still pretty painful. That's a long drive. Good luck, you guys. But thank you for the $50, as well as Linda. Thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo. I really appreciate you so much for the love. And Lucas, thank you so much for the $15 on PayPal. Lucas says, my dad says, quote unquote, tell Dean that he's awesome, and I cannot thank him enough for everything that he does. Thanks again, Dean. Bro, so are you guys. Lucas and Lucas's dad, y'all are awesome. Show even some more love to Lucas and his father. As well as Dina, thank you for the $3 over on PayPal. And then Christina and Kevin, I appreciate you both for the $10 on Venmo as well. All right, Jeff, go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Solely on my personal experiences that I've experienced at the southern border. I live in Texas, and I spend a lot of time at the southern border. And just everything I seen during the early Biden days. I will say Biden did fix it towards the end of the president. I don't know what he did, but towards the end of the presidency, things got much better.
Yeah,
But just that
once after Trump shot down his bipartisan border bill, he signed an executive order into law that reduced undocumented border crossings by 70%. So now, what have you seen at the southern border that makes you support Trump?
A company has a hunting lease down there in South Texas, and just the amount of people that would reach out to us to call Border Patrol on them because either A, they were sick, out of water, lost, cold and rainy. Just the numbers we would see weekly when we were down there. I mean, they were staggering.
Wait, where do you work? I sorry, I wasn't listening. Where do you work?
I work in Houston, Texas, but my company has a lease that we hunt at down in South Texas towards Falfurrias.
Okay, can you can you repeat the claim from the beginning? I'm a little bit confused.
I would just see a ton of border traffic from illegal immigrants crossing our ranch. A lot of them would.
So there's less undocumented immigrants crossing your ranch under Trump.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. So what has Donald Trump done to make less undocumented immigrants cross your ranch?
I have no clue what he's done, but I can promise you with 100% certainty that there are substantially less people crossing the border.
No, I believe you, man. We've seen like a 97% reduction in undocumented entry over the southern border. I'd say what caused it is like gravely immoral, though, right? I think that all immigrants, regardless if they're legal or not, come into America for a better life. I think that Donald Trump has been promising them a worse life if they do enter by violating both the human and constitutional rights of the undocumented immigrants that are already in this country, scaring away new entry, and also that's likely the cause and proxy to what is reducing the amount of undocumented immigrants crossing your ranch. Right? But you shouldn't support that because it's fascist. You shouldn't support that because in many circumstances it's unconstitutional and gravely immoral.
Okay. But I did want to see less traffic at the border, and I did, so.
Right, but you should only support means to reduce like undocumented entry that are like good, not means that are bad.
Okay, I'll look into that more.
Anything else, Jeff?
That's it. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate what you do.
Yeah, have a good one. All right, everyone in the chat is spamming that he's ICE. I don't know. I was looking on his profile for anything that indicated that. I'm pretty sure like the only reason y'all are saying that is because like one person said it and then it kind of caught on. Unless there was like any evidence that he was. I would actually love to talk to somebody that's ICE on the stream. That'd be great. If you're an ICE agent watching it now, you should join. Seriously. What's up, T. Roy? Do you support Trump?
Yo, Dean, is it a vape?
Nope. It's an anxiety pin. Moving on to the next guess. Here we go. What's up, Scrabbles? What an interesting name. Do you support Trump? Scrabbles does not. Moving on to the next guess. Liz, thank you so much for the $25 over on Venmo. Appreciate you for that love, Liz. Liz with the 25 big ones says, thank you for doing everything that you do to educate people. That's very kind of you. Thank you for your kindness, Liz. And thank you for the $25 as well. Please, chat, show some love to Liz down below in that comment section for the 25 big ones. I would also like to thank Anonymous for the $5 over on PayPal, and Lucas with another $15 on PayPal, saying people don't understand what's happening within their own country, and it's sad. I agree, man. Thank you for the $15. And then Sydney, thank you so much for the $10 as well. I just read your message there. That's fucking insane that that's insane that you've been watching the streams for that long, man. Shout out to you, Sydney, Lucas, and Sandra, and Anonymous. Okay, Cooper, what's up? Do you support Trump? Nope, Cooper's gone. Okay, right now we are dealing with a shortage of Trump supporters. We cannot find any to come up here to debate us. So if you are watching and you are an American adult that is pro-Trump, please hop in that queue for me. We'll get you up here. What's up? Are you MAGA? I'm going to give you 5
Hi.
Hi, do you support Trump?
I do, but I wanted to talk to you. I just want to say I appreciate you. I think that your platform, I want to recognize your platform. And I actually came across your platform after after Charlie Kirk passed away. And I want to say thank you. That's all I want to say. I'm so sorry if this is not what you wanted this to be. If you want,
can we debate about why you support Trump?
we can, yeah, we can. That's what Charlie was about. So yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna let you take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Okay. So, I am a 34 year old single female. I have come across, I'm a teacher, which I know that some people laugh about, but I'm a teacher and I'm a special education teacher and,
Oh no. Okay. Every single special education teacher that I know, including many of my
Yeah.
family members, are like the biggest liberals ever, right? Like, for instance, my grandma was the special education director of a local high school for like 10 years. Biggest liberal I know because of it. My aunt is the current special education director of that same high school today. Biggest liberal I know because of it. Why? It's because the only people fighting for the rights of like like personal education plans for special for like students that require special education are going to be those
like
on the
IEPs
right.
and stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The right is like always been fighting to defund IEPs and special education. And the most notable attack on IEPs and special education so far in modern American history is Donald Trump's attempt to dismantle and get rid of the Federal Board of Education, which ensures that special education and IEPs are funded to standard.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. So with my experience within working in special education, I work within Poway Unified School District, the Southern California School District, and yeah, obviously California. So my experience is that there are a lot of people that are trying to use the funds that are being given to the district, but not using them appropriately.
Well, that seems like a district matter unrelated to the federal government. And if anything, dismantling the federal the federal board of education, the federal department of education, my apologies, would just better enable local school districts to misappropriate funds since they would have no more federal oversight.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. No. I'd love to hear to hear others and whatnot. So I appreciate hearing you. And again, I really was just jumping on here because I know that Charlie really he had a lot of respect for you. And yeah. So.
Well, yeah, my thing is, I don't know if he would have had that same respect for me if I wasn't a white man. Like, I saw him disrespect the hell out of my friends that brought the same energy or less to him that were not white men. Like, the first person that comes to my head is Naima, who is a black woman that, just like me, sat down with Charlie Kirk. Just like me, even went to a campus to talk to him. And, when he'd sit down on a podcast to talk about Dean Withers, he'd say, I think he's going to be conservative in the future.
Yeah.
He's a smart kid. When we talk about Naima, the crazy leftist. I don't know. But I guess we're going to move on to the next guest, Lindsay.
Yeah.
I hope that the streams can hopefully change your mind at the end of the day. And you have a good rest of your day. Let's go and move on to that next Trump supporter. Hop in at Q if you happen to be MAGA. We're going to go to get that next guest, Marcus, loaded into the box right now. Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump?
I don't, but my friends, I used to. And then
Dude, I'm really happy to hear that you no longer support Trump. Good for you, man. Let's go to get that next Trump supporter loaded up in here. Only hop in that queue if you want to debate. We'll get you connected. Let's go to get that next guest loaded in here right now. Quite frankly, who's that next Trump supporter? Okay, we got Jake joining. And while Jake is joining, real quick, Shannon, thank you for the $20 donation on Venmo. Shannon says, thank you for always being compassionate in the face of BS spewed by MAGA. I don't know. I think it's more so like patient than compassionate, It's like I don't really have a lot of compassion for like the pro-Trump arguments, but I'm like willing to be patient and like hear them out so then I could respond and rebuttal them and have like transparent debate that's hopefully changing minds. Thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much. As well as let's see here, Lucas. Thank you for the for another $20 over at PayPal. I read your message. I'm gonna go to keep that one to myself, man. But thank you so much for the $20. Let's get 200 Lucas W's and 200 Shannon W's down below in that chat. As well as Jacob, thank you for the $5 on PayPal as well. If you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok and in the pinned message on that YouTube stream. What is up, Jake? Do you support Trump? Jake, are you here? Jake is not here, quite frankly. Banned. Moving on. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here. It looks like the chat has selected their new champion. It's funny when you guys do that. It really puts a lot of pressure on said champion to come up here and, you know, try to give a good debate. Usually they don't. Okay, the name that you're spamming in the chat, folks, is... Oh, actually, I see them. Here they are. You guys have chosen your chat. Why do you want this person up here? What's up? How old are you? Okay, yeah, you're like 4.
How do you feel about your boyfriend dying?
How old are you?
I am 67.
6'7". Ha ha ha. Funny 12-year-old. Moving on to the next guest. Let's gonna get the next guest loaded up in here. We got Eric. We got Eric connecting to the stream. Here we go, folks. Everyone, just do be patient. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Hello.
Hey, what's up, Eric? Do you support Trump?
Of course.
Okay. What year were you born in, and how old are you?
2007.
And how old are you?
18.
Were you up here like yesterday?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. What? Why?
Okay, I'll trust it for now. Yeah. Why do you support like the worst president of your 18 years of life?
All right. Because he wants to ban abortions, and he believes in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
He's actually not a Christian, and sure, yeah, he's okay with abortion bans, but I think that abortion
Oh,
bans are
sure.
bad.
You seem like a very intelligent, smart guy. Is it so much of a crime that I want to put my fingers in your asshole or no?
Eric, come on. Let's hold ourselves to a little bit higher level of maturity and decorum than that. We're gonna go to move on to the next guest. We got Jen loading up in the box. Rough crowd today, guys. Marie, thank you so much for the $7 and the 77 cents over on Venmo. Appreciate you for the love, Marie. That is incredibly kind of you. Moving on to the next Trump supporter. Man, these Trump supporters are fucking weird, man. Let me tell you. Hey, Lucas, thank you so much for the $35 again on PayPal. Jesus Christ, Lucas, you've been so fucking good. Dude, I want to see 500 Lucas W's for all the love today down below in that chat. Thank you so much once again for another $35, my friend. What is up, Lalo? Do you support Trump?
No, I don't. Sorry about that.
Based. Let's go, Lalo. Unfortunately, we're only looking for people that are not as based as you, meaning Trump supporters. Next guest, Dan, is loading into the live. Here we go. Woo! Oh, yeah. What's up, Dan? Do you support Trump? You're in the bath, Dan. Get out of the bath. That's really weird, dude.
No.
Did he sort of like drink the bath water? I thought I heard a little bit of like a slurp there. Went from the splish splash to like the slurp. Ew. That's gross, bro. What the hell? We're gonna move on to the next guest. Hop in that queue if you happen to be a Trump supporter. What a weirdo, dude. I do not drink bath water. Ah, no. What is up, Reagan? Do you support Trump? Okay, Reagan's not here. Moving on to the next guest. Literally no Trump supporters at all. They're all gone, and I'm going crazy because of it. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. Quite frankly, my mind is gone. I'm losing it so bigly. So bigly. By the way, apparently Donald Trump said some crazy shit that we missed at his press conference. Apparently. I want to go ahead and listen to this Parnas video real quick.
Talking about flag burning at the White House, saying how he made it a crime punishable by up to 1 year in prison, and then goes, quote, "We took the freedom of speech away," referring to the fact that the United States Supreme Court has on at least one occasion before said that flag burning is protected First Amendment speech. And while Donald Trump is claiming that it's no longer that because he, quote, "took the freedom of speech away." That's a real quote from the President of the United States today. Now, obviously, his executive order did not make flag burning a crime.
Bro, no way, bro.
Okay, so this just in. Donald Trump thinks that he could amend the Constitution through executive orders. Yeah. I'm sorry. Mask off. Authoritarian moment. What's up, Zach? Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
How do you still support Trump, even though he just said that he could amend and change the Constitution through executive orders, attempting to consolidate all power vested in Congress, disseminated in between and amongst around 500 people to amend and change the Constitution and consolidate it to himself illegally? How do you feel about that?
Okay, good point, good point. But do you know what you know what propaganda is, right? And so you
Yeah,
obviously
the
know
shit that
all
you
the
and other
lies
Trump
that have
supporters
been
stuff down your
spread.
throats all day.
Man, come on, bro.
You heard
Like,
me.
me and you both know the Democrats be spreading so much propaganda that is crazy, bro.
I'm a
Like,
Democrat. What propaganda do I spread?
for example, y'all can't handle when other people make their points. Just like Charlie Kirk. Just like Charlie Kirk. Y'all couldn't handle it, so y'all shot him dead. I'm just saying.
Okay, so you're assuming that the shooter is a leftist, and because the shooter is a leftist, therefore all leftists are culpable for that action. The shooter is also a white man. Therefore, are all white men culpable for his action?
I'm not gonna lie, Dean. I'm 15. I don't know what I'm talking about, bro.
Moving on to the next guest. Here we go. Hop in that queue if you happen to be a Trump supporter. We'll get you loaded up. Just please make sure that you're following the rules, you guys. We're only looking for people that are 18 years of age or older. We're also only looking for people that are American, and we're also only looking for people that support Donald Trump as president. What is up? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Age, please.
I'm 19.
What year were you born in, please?
I was born in 2006.
Okay. All right. And why do you support Trump?
I support Trump because, honestly, I didn't see anything good with Kamala Harris in office.
They didn't do anything that was good. So explain to me
Uh,
how the
to- in
PACT
my
Act.
opinion-
So explain to me how the PACT Act that invested close to $1 billion into the VA was bad.
Well, I just think that Trump is so much better because I don't know. Why do you not like Trump?
There's about 1 billion reasons why I don't like Trump. But I want you to answer my question. You said that the Biden-Harris administration did nothing good. So explain to me how the PACT Act that invested nearly $1 billion into the expansion of VA healthcare resources was bad.
I don't know. I just think that
don't
what
know?
they stood for was wrong, low key.
Okay, then explain to me how standing for tax cuts for the average working class American and expanding via healthcare benefits to serve more of our veterans better is wrong.
Low key, I just think that with Trump in office right now in the year 2025 that we're in, I just think that he's better.
Okay.
He's a better leader.
So you're just
Because
completely moving off of your first point.
I low key am. I low key am.
So
I'm not
why do you
gonna
think he's a better leader, Mr. Tyler?
In my opinion, I think he's a better leader because honestly, with him in office, it feels much safer in the United States, low key. For me, in my opinion, honestly.
And why is
Other
that your
than-
opinion? I mean, you shouldn't feel safer
I just think-
with the federal government militarizing American cities and declaring war on the quote unquote enemy, the enemy from within. That shouldn't make you feel safer. Why is Trump making you feel safer?
I just feel like with him in office, I'm not really worried about what's
about
gonna
what?
happen. Like, I'm not really worried about a war as much as I was. Like, I get that he's who he is.
So you're less worried about war, but like all wars globally have gotten worse. Like for instance, Russia's ethnic cleansing of Ukraine. Since the beginning of Donald Trump's second administration and his defunding of Ukraine, Russia's been dropping the most bombs they have yet on Ukraine, right? Increasing global tensions. So why do you like higher levels of global tensions make you feel safer?
Low key, no. I just think that with him in office and the way that he is as a person and he stands on what he thinks, and I just feel like that's what more people.
Tyler,
in
are you actually
the United
19?
States- Yeah.
I don't believe you. I think that you're a minor.
You want to see my ID?
I mean, I don't think you'd have an ID that would say that you're 19 or older. I'm just gonna go and stand on business and trust my intuition there. The arguments that he was purporting were just like very like indicative of like a 16-year-old. I feel like. Let's see here. We have a couple people to thank here. Super duper quickly.
Turn off my AC.
Oh, what's up, Jaden? Welcome in, man. How we doing?
You doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing all right. You want to hang out with me?
Yes,
Have a
I
little
do.
co-host? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
Quickly, I'd like to thank a handful of people over here on PayPal and Venmo. Twitch, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal, saying love from Alberta, Canada. I watch you as much as I can, brother. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much for the love, Twitch. Shout out to you down below, as well as Jaden. Thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal as well, saying yo, what up, Dean? I was wondering if you've seen the clip of a different Jaden. I was wondering if you've seen the clip of Trump's statement regarding banning of the American flag. Yeah, we just listened to that together with reporting from Parnas. That's fucking insane. Thank you so much for the $20 of Jaden. Show some love to Twitch and Jaden down below in that chat, as well as thank you for the $10, Michaela. Michaela says, thank you for all that you do. I will never understand how people can support such a tyrant. Me neither, and I try to understand every day. Tay, thank you so much for the $4 in Venmo, and Morgan with a 5, as well as I did read both of the messages that you guys attached. Thank you for the love, Tay and Morgan. I did see that. Completely egregious. All right. Jada, appreciate you for being here. For everyone watching, this guy is phenomenal. He cooks. So we're going to have him up here for a little bit of a co-host. Let's go and get that very first Trump supporter up of the day. Hop in that queue if you happen to be MAGA. As well as Emma. Thank you so much for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. Emma says lines to the Super Bowl this year. I have not been keeping up with the NFL. I'm going to be honest. I kind of keep up with college football, not professional. All right. Henry's not joining, so unfortunately we're going to move on to the next guest. Only hop in that queue if you happen to be MAGA, folks. We got that next guest, Donald Robinson the doll, connecting. In the meantime, guys, make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen on TikTok. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why the hell do you support the worst president of your life? And yes, you should take that personally.
Well, maybe it's better than supporting somebody who would target his political opponents by organizing the FBI to perform illegal wiretaps and phone taps.
So we're against targeting political opponents now, right? Just not as it relates to sending the National Guard into Democratic states, cities, and districts. Not as it relates to denying pay for the furloughed workers in these democratically affected states. Not when it relates to that, right? But just as it relates to the FBI. Which, by the way, remind me again, which party started the "lock her up" chant? Was that Democrats or Republicans? So I wouldn't say that. I would not say that targeting political opponents through the mechanisms of government is exactly against your party.
Get back in your feelings and go back and do your voiceovers.
Oh, I feel great.
What you're good at.
Yeah, I know you would like that. You would like to not be challenged. You want to just hear me do fucking cartoon voices because you have the maturity of a 7-year-old child. I can do that. I can do a voice. I can talk to you and school you as Yogi Bear if you'd like.
To a challenge
hey, boo-boo. This guy ain't making no sense. Listen, if you want to address what I've said,
challenge for me. I'll speak in your language.
He's devolving. Stop. If you want to actually address what I'm saying in terms of punishing political opponents,
a pair of brain cells.
A pair of brain cells, that'd be twice more than what you have. But if we can get back to the subject,
I don't have to wear something covering my head.
God damn! You see my hair out right now. If we can get off of my profile picture or my voice and address the substance of my argument, your party is not. Stay on subject, please. Your party is not opposed to politically targeting their opponents, and I listed off several examples that would indicate that.
Perform an illegal operation that could also have every single FBI member lose their jobs, which also requires a court-appointed judge to even give access to that.
So what are you referring to?
Dean wants to. Operation Winter Frost, Arctic Frost.
Arctic Frost. Okay, tell us about that.
Arctic Frost was done by the previous administration that was allowing the FBI to wiretap not just one, but over 10 United States senators. And even they said that Lindsey Graham was also going to sue the previous administration because of his phone being wiretapped.
Yeah, question.
Has it ever been... Go ahead.
I just have a quick question. So I just looked up... I looked this up. So this was an allegation made by Senator Chuck Grassley of the GOP. Question for you. Has the FBI under Donald Trump so far been able to conclude that these allegations are truthful?
They did yesterday. If any of you actually watched the news, instead of, I don't know, worrying about your vape pens.
You were worried about my voice a moment ago.
Haircuts. I mean, what's the matter?
Are you
guys
talking
want to
about
try to be relevant?
Donald? Are you talking about my physical appearance, my friend?
Well, hey, I'm not the one who looks like I'm wearing a haircut from 8 is enough.
Yeah, you look like Jesus Christ from Five Below.
At least my haircut's relevant.
Come on, that was kind of funny.
Hey, what? Why? Did you kick him or did he leave?
No, he left.
Oh, that's sad.
All right.
I was having fun.
Yeah, no clue where he went. Yeah, well, I was looking forward to having a good conversation with him about the wiretaps because, as we're learning, there was a baseless allegation made by a Republican senator that is not completely truthful. If you're not back in that queue, I'd love to have you up here, Mr. Donald Robinson. But you're gonna have to tone it down on the insults because TikTok 2S really doesn't like insults, and they'll ban you for it. I mean, you might have even got banned, and I didn't check it. But we're going to go ahead and get our next guest up here. Hop in that queue if you happen to support Trump. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how old are you?
19.
19, and what year were you born in?
September 28, 2006, buddy.
All right, buddy. That would make you 19, buddy. Lily, thank you for
That
the
would make
galaxy
me
over on TikTok, as well as Audrey. Thank you for the $15 donation over on Venmo. Audrey with the 15 bucks says, love from Boston. Can you shout out my sister Bella? We watch your streams together all the time. Yes, shout out to Bella. Thank you for the 15 bucks, Audrey. You are fantastic. As well as Cherry, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. Yeah, man, go ahead and take it away, Mr. Chad. Of course, your name is Chad. Tell us why you support Trump.
And so the first thing I want to start off with is I am a Trump supporter. I would say not for the right reasons though. It's mainly family based. For my sort of thing, and I've kind of been. My dad telling me, he's like, oh, if you don't vote for this, getting kicked out of the house. I just kind of want to I want to hear like your main topic points to kind of help me more not be ignorant towards this.
Why, so you want to hear my reasons why I don't support Trump?
Or I'm not necessarily looking to be a leftist, but I'm trying to be more open minded rather than just listen to my family opinions.
So you just
because I
want me
don't
to
trust
tell
the
you,
news.
So you just want me to tell you why Trump bad?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think that he's terrible for like about a billion different reasons. I'm going to try to keep it short and touch on what is most relevant right now. Donald Trump right now, I would say, is being highlighted as one of the worst presidents in modern American history because of his attack on law and order, his attack on the American people, and his attack on our civil liberties, rights, and freedoms. For instance, he's attacking the hell out of the Constitution. Literally, less than an hour ago, he said that he took free speech away when he signed an executive order into law attempting to ban the burning of the American flag, even though the Supreme Court ruled in the 80s that burning the American flag is protected under free speech given the First Amendment. So he took the mask off, admitted to you, admitted to me, and admitted to the totality of the American public that he tried to infringe on your First Amendment rights with an illegal executive order. That should be more than enough to never support him a day in your life again. But if that's not enough, also consider his attacks on the 22nd Amendment, where he's continued to perpetually re-suggest that he's going to run for a third term, even though the 22nd Amendment would limit a president to two. I know that you guys could.
No, I can still hear you.
I know. The rest of the stream couldn't. We just had a little bit of lag. I'm back now. Or consider in December of 2022, where Donald Trump said that he'd be okay with repealing all the rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution.
All right, I understand that. And another question that I really had for you, I don't really trust the news because I think, like not only like I know a lot of people say CNN's biased, but I believe every news source is, because some are obviously leftist and some are obviously rightist. And so I wanted to ask you, do you think that Donald Trump is a reason of why we're having this government shutdown right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's under his directive that the GOP wants to further cut Medicaid and increase premiums by 75%, not to mention that Maga controls the White House, House of Representatives, and Senate.
All right, man. Appreciate your time. I'm definitely going to look a whole lot more into your stuff so I can try to...
Can I say one thing before you go?
But yeah, you're good.
I'd just like to say, just real quick, I think it's categorically antithetical to the belief of family values and family beliefs. If you're willing to remove somebody from your life based on how they vote, and your parents have said that they'll kick you out if you don't vote the way they do, that's not family values. That's not keeping things together. That's not demonstrating unconditional love.
Yeah. But all right, I'll definitely keep in touch with watching your stuff and everything, so I can understand more for my own rather than what my family believes in. But I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming up, Chad. I'm sorry that your family treated you that way. Jaden, do you have a second account?
What is this? Yeah, but what? Really?
See you soon, Jaden. Oh man, yeah, he got banned by the TikTok overlords. Jaden, if you hop on a second account, I'll happily bring you back up. Let's go to move on to the next guest, Nathan. Hype Phantom, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Saying this caller over here criticizing Jaden's voice while he's over here sounding like Mandark. I don't know what Mandark is, but I appreciate you for the $10, Hyped Phantom. We're gonna get that next guest loaded up into the box right now. As well as Roselia, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Roselia with the $10 says, Dean, been watching you daily from Canada. Hell yeah, all the love to you, all the love to Canada. As well as Heidi, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. And Barry with the 5 saying, hey Dean, I'm so happy I came across your page. Me too, Barry. Good to have you here. Thank you for the $5. And then, of course, Alana, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo as well. Alana says, my dad is deep in the Maga cult. He says all quote-unquote illegals deserve unaliving, whether they're 55 years old or 5 months old. Alana, that's not just the Maga cult. That's a little bit more than just being a Trump cult member. That's like something Hitler would say. I really hope that you're safe in your household, Alana. If you're watching and you want to support me, you could find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. Get 100% of the proceeds over there. You could attach a message and I'll read it off on live. Right now, we're trying to get Jaden back. Chat, I'm going to keep an eye on the queue for Jaden. If you see him in the chat on a new account, let me know. What is up? Love my boyfriend. Do you support Trump? Nope, not here. Banned. Moving on to the next guest. Let's go ahead and get that. Oh, there's Jaden. Moving on to the next guest right now, everyone. We're going to go to get our next guest, Jessica, connected. And we already got Jaden loaded up in. Once again, for the 14.6 thousand people hanging out with us on TikTok, just make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen, folks. And what is up, Jessica? Do you support Trump? Jessica, you have around 5 seconds here to respond before I kick you. And good day, Jessica. Moving on to the next guest, John. By the way, once we get another debate rolling here, Jaden, I'm going to go and use the restroom, so I'm going to leave you alone with a guest for a moment.
All right, that's fine.
John, what's up? Do you support Trump?
That is the smartest thing I've heard him say.
I'll take that as an astounding yes. So, John, why do you support Trump? He left. Moving on. Let's go to get that next Trump supporter loaded up into the box, guys. Come on. We're just looking for debates, okay? Like, right now we have close to like 15,000 people in this stream. The fact that we can't find one Trump supporter to debate is absolutely insane. MAGA is going extinct, and that is a fact. What's up? How are we doing? Do you support Trump, Gene?
Dean, I love you!
Oh,
Jesus
Jesus
Christ.
Christ. Oh, dude. Scared the fuck out of me. Yeah, man. Waking me up. Waking me up, dude. Holy shit. I need you to do that to me before I go to the gym. What is up, Horse? Do you support Trump?
My balls.
You talking about your balls, man? That's pretty weird. Do you support Trump? He said something about his balls and didn't want to add on anything else. What a weirdo.
Interesting.
Stop talking about your balls, weirdo.
By the way, for MAGA, if you want very large ones, rub Icy Hot on it. It's proven to grow. Anyways.
Do not do that. Do not do that. Oh, no, don't do that. Please don't do that.
What?
Do not listen to Jaden. What's up, Mr. Capo? Do you support Trump? Don't do that. Okay, we're gonna.
It's light today.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get that next Trump supporter loaded up in here right now. We got Tyler Thomas loading up in. Okay, all right. Yo, Sarah, thank you for the $5 on Venmo saying here's $5 for having to deal with Five Below Jesus. Thank you for the $5, Sarah. As well as Alana, thank you for the $5 as well. And Jaden, once again, with another $10 on PayPal saying, yo, Dean, it's Jaden, the other Jaden. Thank you for taking the time to deal with these guys. Yo, appreciate you for the love again. Shout out to you. Shout out to Jaden, double in the chat. Let's get 100 Jaden W's for the $10 over on Venmo while we are still looking for that next Trump supporter that we cannot find. As well as... Drum roll, please. Let's see here. Bruce Bruce, thank you so much for the $50 over on PayPal. Bruce, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. Bruce with the 50 big ones. Thank you so much. That is so generous. Let's get 500 Bruce W's. Says, have any broadcast networks approached you with hosting nightly live shows? No. I had MSNBC approach me to come on to one of their shows. It was fun. They didn't reach out to me again after that. I don't know. I think I'm a little bit too, little bit too atypical for like mainstream politics to be endorsed by like mainstream media. But I don't know. It'd be cool if I was. What's up, C Squared? Are you MAGA?
Good afternoon. First of all, how's your day going so far before we start?
Yeah, 10 out of 10, C Squared. Are you driving?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
I could hear the car moving. I'm sorry. I could hear his car moving. He was lying. We're gonna go to get that next guest loaded up in here. What's up, Alex? Do you support Trump?
Hey, what's up, man? We talked the other day. I think it was like 2 days ago.
Dude, awesome, Alex. Unfortunately, we do just talk to one person one time. We try to get some different voices in here, but I appreciate you, Alex. What's up? Do you support Trump, JJ?
Yes, I do.
And how old are you?
I'm 21.
And why do you support the worst president of your 21 years of life?
I support him because I think he's a good president. He's doing good things, good policies.
All right, well, I'm going to go and leave you to Jaden here for around a minute so I could use the restroom. Lay it on him. Tell us all why you support Trump. And for everyone watching, I will be right back.
All right, what do you got for me? Doing well. How are you, JJ?
I'm doing good. Here for a debate.
All right. So what would you say has impacted your life for the betterment under Trump?
I would say my purchasing power was better in his first term, starting to come back down now.
So that's worse, right? I asked what's better.
No, my wages were better under Trump.
Your wages, how are they now?
I mean, it's pretty much the same, if not better than 2022.
So wage stagnation is what you're saying.
Well, no, you can actually see who caused it and what things caused.
I'm asking if your wages are the same. Would that not mean that they've been stagnant for the past 3 years?
Well, no, because inflation affects what you can purchase.
Right. Inflation has only ticked up since the beginning of the year. I think it's at 2.7 to 2.9. So you have less purchasing power than you did at the start of the year.
Maybe from the start of the year, but, things happen.
Things happen is tariffs.
If Biden isn't in control of inflation, neither is Trump. So I don't get your point.
I'd say that we can point to direct policy initiatives that would link inflationary results to Donald Trump's policies, such as tariffs. Tariffs are inherently inflationary. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
There was bipartisan tariffs under Biden.
The ones that those were targeted tariffs, often passed by Congress. Donald Trump is not going about that route. These are blanket tariffs.
He didn't give a blanket tariff.
We're talking about blanket tariffs here.
Biden
targeted blanket. Right. He didn't do. Trump is not doing blanketed tariffs. He's doing targeted tariffs. Excuse me. He's doing blanketed tariffs, not targeted.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Tell me one thing that he has a tariff on everything. One product that is all tariffed, because there isn't.
Wait, are you saying that Donald Trump isn't doing blanket tariffs?
It wasn't a blanket tariff. I mean, you said
that all exports from China.
Yeah, at one point he literally had
every single good.
At one point he literally had tariffs on every country in the world. How could it become more blanket than that?
Yeah, every country, but not every product.
Yeah, that would include every product.
What's the distinction? How would they be?
That would include every product.
He didn't. Okay, show me that policy.
Okay. Liberation Day, April 2nd. Look it up. Now, I just want you to think about this like using common sense. If Donald Trump has a tariff on every country in the world, then this would mean that if there is any product and every product that is imported into this country, it would be tariffed, right?
It was still not a true blanket tariff.
How
can
could
look it up.
get more
It wasn't.
blanket than that? What could he possibly do to make the tariff blanket? If tariffing every product from every country on Earth is not blanket, then what is a blanket tariff?
I mean, a blanket tariff would be a tariff on all imports without exceptions, which he had exceptions, so that's
No.
not a blanket tariff.
No, there was no
Yes.
exceptions.
No.
There was exceptions.
What were his
reading
What are the
it right now.
exceptions?
It says there was exceptions.
What were the exceptions
What are you reading?
to his Liberation Day tariffs imposed on every country in the world, apart from Russia?
Well, there you go. Apart from Russia,
So that's the exception that makes
What?
it a non-blanket tariff?
it had exceptions, so it's not
If
a blanket
you're saying
tariff.
that the exception are certain countries, that's not an exception to a blanket tariff. A blanket tariff applies to the totality of all exports from a nation.
You guys can look it up. Every economist says it's not a true blanket tariff.
Name one.
Who says that?
It's saying it on Google right
Name one.
now.
Name
It's
one
not a
economist.
blanket tariff.
What are you reading?
Name one economist, JJ.
It says President Donald Trump's tariffs, both in his first term and second term,
No, who?
were not applied uniformly.
Oh.
Despite campaign rhetoric of no exceptions, exemptions were granted. Allies, specific products, like I said earlier, specific products were not tariffed.
Okay. So with Liberation Day, what specific products were not tariffed? He. Get pushed, JJ.
I mean, I'm having to look through the freaking.
Get pushed, buddy. Get pushed, buddy.
How am I getting pushed?
Because
I'm
you
trying to
answer
find
anything.
Because you're getting pushed. Lucas, thank you
Also,
so much
Google's
for
not a source.
Lucas, thank you for the $15 over on PayPal. Show some love to Lucas down below. As well as Maze, thank you for the $10. This just in on Venmo. Maze with the $10 says he tariffed the penguins in all caps. No, for real. He tariffed the penguins. They were so blanket, so broad, so expansive. He even tariffed the goddamn penguins, JJ. I need you to lock in, okay? As well as Eric. Thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. Thank you, Eric, dude. That's insane. Thank you for your generosity. Let's get 500 big Eric W's down below in that chat for the $50. Holy shit. Eric with a 50 big one says, I would have thought he lost all of his supporters when he suggested that the military nuke a hurricane heading for Puerto Rico. It's crazy, Eric, because anymore, his suggestion of nuking the hurricane is like the lightest critique that could possibly be alleged against him. As well as Ernest, thank you for the $25 donation over on PayPal, saying, Dean, came across your page. Love what you're doing. Thank you, Ernest. That is ERNEST. Show some love to Ernest down below in that chat, and thank $10 saying I'd kill to hear you talk to someone older than a teenager who could form complete sentences. Well, we had that Daniel guy up here. He was like 35, but he crashed out in like 10 seconds.
I'm giving
Spencer, thank you so much for the $10 as well, saying I was forced to vote for Trump by my mom in 2016, my husband in 2020, and now I'm a liberal with an independent husband. Fuck yeah, Spencer, you're an icon. Show some love to Spencer in that chat. Go ahead.
All right. It says a prominent example of products without a tariff was smartphones. They weren't tariff. They were explicitly exempt from tariffs.
Okay, what's your
And
source?
you can look that up.
Where are you getting this
Liberation Day
I
tariffs?
got you. For the full exemption list, you can go to HTSUS under ustr.gov.
Is it like a current exemption list?
No, it's for the full exemptions list.
But is it like current?
That exemption was current on Liberation Day. He did not tariff smartphones on Liberation Day.
Okay, actually, you're right. There was some excluded goods.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. No, you're right. I was wrong. I'll own it.
But he still has a 10% blanket tariff on all nations currently.
So the excluded goods,
But there's exemptions
that were not
to
impacted.
that blanket.
The excluded goods that were not impacted by Liberation Day tariffs. You were right. I was wrong. I'll give it to you. Were certain books.
Semiconductors.
No, because semiconductors were impacted by a separate 25% universal Section 232 tariff.
I'm reading here. It says semiconductors.
What date is that?
Okay, smartphones and computers.
There you go. Smartphones and computers, which
Okay.
are semiconductors.
Yeah. Yeah. So all goods from Cuba, North Korea, Russia, and Belarus were not tariffed. Then smartphones and computers were not tariffed, and some books were not tariffed. That's all.
There you go.
Okay.
What is your argument?
Yeah.
Well, you guys said it was a blanket tariff, and I was disputing it.
He does have blanket tariffs.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still argue that it's a blanket tariff, and maybe it's just
not a true blanket tariff.
Well, maybe we just use the term like blanket differently here, right? Because what I would suggest is that a blanket tariff is just like a broad and an expansive tariff, right?
I mean,
even if
aren't
right,
we-
like certain products such as smartphones or certain books are not being
And-
tariffed,
and
right? Still
laptops.
yet, those tariffs are incredibly broad and expansive, right? Leading me to classify them as blanket, right? But regardless of like the word that we're using to refer to them, blanket or non-blanket, why do you support Trump as president?
Well, I said it's tariffs,
You didn't say
immigration
that.
policy.
You said your wages, which you also said haven't changed.
Well,
So,
yeah,
so
my
can we get
purchasing
like
power
a
changed.
so can we get like an argument? So why is Trump a good president? What is like one thing he's done in the last 8 months that you're a big
Okay,
fan of?
I think that tariffs provide protectionism over our country and will bring manufacturing back to the U.S.
Then why have we seen such a sharp and instant reduction into investment into American manufacturing?
Because they were scared of the tariffs, but now they're realizing that they're going to have to comply.
Okay, well, like seemingly, right, the tariffs continue to change. So I don't know if that's true. Like, for instance, 3 months ago, we had a near 300% tariff on China. Now we have a 10% tariff on China. 3 months ago, we had like a 25% tariff on India. Now it's 50%. 3 months ago, we didn't have a tariff on Argentina. A month ago is 50%. And now Donald Trump is actually giving them $20 billion. So, like, I'm not really so sure that, like, anyone knows what's going on with the tariffs. And even in that
Do you
statement,
know
you're
the
saying, well, they're
term-
scared of the tariff, but they're going to be forced to comply. What do you mean forced to comply? What do you mean by that?
Well, do you know what protectionism is?
Yeah, I would appreciate if you could respond to my question though, because I asked you if like the tariffs are working to like help American manufacturing. Why have we seen such a sharp and instant reduction into investment into American manufacturing? And then you said, well, they're
Yeah.
scared of the tariffs, but now they're going to be forced to comply. I don't really know what you mean by that statement.
Well,
And nor
here-
can I
here-
like comprehend how that sufficiently addresses the question I asked you.
Well,
so what do
here,
you
I
mean
can address
companies are
it
going to
for
be
you.
forced to comply? And once you could explain on that, how does that relate to to a possible explanation insofar as how tariffs can be good for American manufacturing while we're seeing a massive reduction in investment into American manufacturing?
Well, so under Biden, we saw a large number of companies come to us because of what? Because Biden gave them subsidies, which is basically a tax break, or he's just giving them money.
Yeah, subsidies
And
are
Trump's
awesome.
plan. Here we go. Trump's plan is to use the revenue from the tariffs as subsidy, and
He's
he's
using them
been
as
blocked.
bailouts,
Wait,
not
hold on.
subsidies.
And the reason he hasn't done it is because
Oh,
he was
so-
blocked by the courts on liberation.
So you're actually not answering my question then.
I did. I said the manufacturing would have been better right now if he was allowed to use his revenue.
Okay, so the question that I asked you is why have we seen a reduction in investment in American manufacturing? And then you said,
I
well,
just told you.
people are going to no, because you said that people are going to be scared of the tariffs and now they're going to be forced to comply. And I asked you to expand on what you mean by forced to comply and how this relates to the question that I asked.
Okay, forced to comply because they have to open their market at a higher cost because of the tariffs.
Okay, so you're
Which-
saying that people are going to be forced into selling their products for a higher cost in America?
No, in their home country. Because listen.
How does
Say-
that not apply to America, though?
And what does this
Why
have to
wouldn't
do with
American companies not just raise their prices?
Because
and what does this
because
have to wait? What does this have to
listen.
do with like the reduction in investment into American manufacturing? Like you're just saying words at this point.
Well,
JJ.
you asked me a different question.
No,
so
I
I'm
didn't.
gonna
I didn't
answer.
ask. I didn't ask you a different question at all. My main root question was, well, if tariffs are good for manufacturing, then why have we seen a reduction in investment into American manufacturing? And then
Well,
you
and I
said
told you.
it's because people are going to be forced to comply with the tariffs. And now I'm asking you by what you mean. What do you mean people are going to be forced to comply with the tariffs? And then you said, well, the price of goods are going to go up in China. And then I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? It just sounds like you're spamming words. So
Okay.
I'm going to ask
No,
you one more
I'm-
time. I'm going to ask you one more time. When I asked you the question, well, if the tariffs are good for manufacturing, why have we seen investment into American industries plummet? And then you responded by saying, well, they were scared of the tariffs and now they're going to be forced to comply. What do you mean by quote unquote forced to comply? And how does this relate towards how tariffs are still good for American manufacturing, even though we've seen a massive reduction in investment into American manufacturing?
Okay.
Real private.
So here's my point. You're asking me, why were they scared to comply and why would they have to be forced to comply, right?
And compliance with what? And how does this thing that we don't know
With
what they're going to be
price.
forced to comply with
All
going to relate to why we've seen a massive reduction in real private
If you would let
fixed
me
investment,
talk, I would tell
and
you.
how this doesn't mean that tariffs are bad for manufacturing?
If you let me talk, I would tell you.
Yeah, for sure. I
Go
just think
ahead.
that everyone is
Okay.
confused on what you're arguing, including myself.
Listen. If Argentina, let's just use I'm using random countries, okay? Argentina can buy a piece of steel from China for 5 cents, and then we raise the tariffs on them, they're going to be forced to open their starting price to 10 cents instead of 5 cents. That's what the tariffs do.
In their market?
Dude, look it up.
Can you explain
Tariffs
how?
are going to force people to open up their prices at a higher cost.
In their market?
In China's market, yes. The market of cost
We're
in
talking
China
about
will
China
go up.
between Argentina and China, right?
Okay.
How would a U.S. tariff affect that?
Because China is going to up their price.
And why would
because
they
of our
have to do
tariff.
that?
So we can all be equal. That the whole point of tariffs is to make it an equal market.
Saying so they could all be equal. That's not an economic argument. Give me like an economic argument for the conclusion that U.S. tariffs on China would make China increase the price of their goods in their own market.
I just told you.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
You just said fairness.
What does equal? What does equal mean in terms of this economic
You
It would
philosophy?
mean
you
that
said
other
equal.
countries can't go to China and just buy things for cheaper.
How is
and never
that? How is that
come to
not
America.
equal?
Oh.
How is that? How is that equal?
Well, 1 second. You're repeating the claim. We're asking you for an argument that if the U.S. imposes tariffs on China, then China would have to increase the price of their goods in their own market. That's what I'm asking you. Give an argument for that.
I got you. Well, I'm telling you, it's protectionism. If we tariff
I got
China,
you. www.bullshit.com. There's your answer. I don't know what you're saying at this point.
I mean,
Perfectly blunt with
people
you.
that agree with tariffs say the same thing.
I've actually
Who
never,
says that?
I've actually never heard this one before, so you're wrong.
I've listened to you debate someone and they brought this up, so I don't want to hear
I
it.
think that like you're
Maybe you
confused.
can cite them.
I think that you're
I'm
just
not
confused.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, if you're not like so obviously and astoundingly confused, please give an argument for the notion that when the U.S. imposes tariffs on China, China has to increase the price of their goods in their own market.
Well, it's because we have tariffs on almost, like you said, almost everything and everyone. Everyone is going to be forced to open at a more equal price.
Third time repeating the claim, buddy. They'd be forced to open at a higher price in the American market, not in the Chinese market.
Not in Argentina's.
Right. Not in the Argentina market, not in the Chinese market would they be forced to open at a higher price, but they would be forced to open at a higher price in the American market, JJ. I hate it when people that don't really understand economics try to make economic arguments. And let me tell you why.
I'm in college right now for economics, okay?
Maybe
Good, stay there.
Yeah, stay. Actually, I agree with Jaden. Stay there. You're going to be awesome in a couple of years. But right now, you definitely need the schooling. And that's not a bad thing.
Well,
we all need to learn more. But what I am saying is that I don't really like it when people that don't have a really good understanding of economics try to make economic arguments because they always just come across as gibberish, right? Like pure gibberish that I can't understand, that Jaden can't understand, that anyone can understand, and they confuse the hell out of us, right? Like, for instance, you told us that when the U.S. imposes tariffs on China, that China and Chinese companies will then be forced into making the price of their goods higher in the Chinese market. right? And that on its own just sounds gibberish. Like, why would a tax on imports into America
I got you
make
right
the
here.
price of Chinese goods in the Chinese market more expensive?
Tariffs raise China's starting prices because exporters strategically pass part of the cost to avoid losses, leveraging their market dominance.
Keyword.
This ultimately burdens U.S. importers, yes. But the hype originates China.
Yeah, there we go.
Originates China to start manufacturing in the U.S.
There we go. There we go, man. You just said it yourself.
That's how they're forced. That's how they're forced to come and manufacture here.
It forces the Chinese exporters to increase the price of their good in America.
U.S.
No, it's everywhere.
Why would it be everywhere? Why would it be everywhere?
Dude.
Because we're trying to make it an equal market.
Dude,
that doesn't make sense. Can you answer that?
Dude, the sentence you just read off explained why you're wrong. The sentence you just read off says it would burden the Chinese exporters to make their starting price higher for the American importers. Do American importers operate in the American market, or do American importers operate in the Chinese market?
I know what you're saying, and I
Answer my
understand.
question. Do American importers operate in the American market, or do American importers operate in the Chinese market?
The Chinese market.
JJ, what the hell is an importer? JJ,
an import is a good coming to our country.
Okay, so then U.S. importers, U.S. companies that are bringing goods into our country are obviously operating in our country, right?
Yes, I'm still saying the ripple effect.
Why would it affect
literally, it says the ripple effect of U.S. tariffs have a global ripple effect. Supply
Where
chains
does it
and
say
import
that?
prices.
I doubt it's worded like that, but what are you reading off of?
Google.
Google is your source. You're in college. You'll probably learn this. You'll probably learn this when you write a report or something. It's what's called primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. You have to cite something. Google is what's called tertiary. You have a primary source.
Dude, this is brutal.
Yeah, I mean, it's from a Nerber working paper.
Well,
and I know that's a good source.
JJ, listen.
I mean,
JJ, listen. I could use this as an opportunity to be a royal asshole and make fun of you for like not knowing these things. I'm actually not going to do that. And instead, I'm going to try to take the high road here. And I'm going to tell you, JJ, you should really consider doing research on what an
so there's no
importer is.
ripple effect on our tariffs globally.
Okay.
It's just a lie.
Okay. All right, JJ. I tried to take the high road. Now I'm going to get down and dirty. You have no fucking clue.
Get down and dirty. Get Parker, the real economic person, up here, because I guarantee you have no idea. I've listened to you debate tariffs, and you're just wrong every time. Like,
what is it? I'll ask you this point.
I was
blank
right
and
about the
simple.
blanket. I was right
Excuse
about
me.
the blanket tariffs. I
Excuse
was right
me.
about that. But now I'm wrong.
Excuse me, JJ. What is a tariff?
It's a tariff on imported goods. What do you mean?
Don't use the word in the definition. What's a race? Well, it's a race. What is a tariff?
It's protection. It raises the prices.
Well,
the business.
Head out.
Listen.
What are you saying? What is a tariff?
Listen.
Functionally, how would you classify? If you
A
were to
tax
write
on an
the
import.
definition.
A tax on an import.
Okay, thank you. Google is speeding up today. You're up to 5G.
Did you hear
Awesome.
me typing? You can hear me typing.
No, you probably fucking tiptoed around it. But the first two answers you gave were nonsensical. Okay, you said a tariff is
means
a tariff.
tax. Tariff means a tax.
Awesome.
So it does
and
work.
what do taxes do? Do taxes increase things or lower things?
It increases
Overall
things
prices of them.
marginally because the
Right.
business
And so
pays
when
for
things
99%
increase
of
in
it.
cost, is that inflationary?
Not when market comes to America. Not when manufacturing.
I don't know
comes to
what that
America.
means. Manufacturing jobs. Listen, here's a report coming out of the Chicago Fed a few days ago. New hirings total just 204,000 out so far out of 2025, off 58% from the same period last year, lowest level since 2009. These jobs aren't coming back. Whatever the hell you're talking about is not materializing. In fact, we're worse than we were to this point from a year ago.
The only reason Biden had better job a better job increase is because of bounce back jobs from COVID.
We added onto that.
Yeah.
Bounce back jobs from
But
COVID.
hey, here's The Economist.
Yeah, can I butt in here real quick, Mr. JJ?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Parker, welcome in. I'm going to go ahead and catch you up real quick. So this idiot, I'm just kidding, I'll be nice. so JJ over here, he was trying to tell us that when the U.S. imposes tariffs on China, then it increases the price of Chinese goods in the Chinese market, right? I then asked him for an argument for that, and he told us that it forces Chinese exporters, right, to increase the price of their goods for American importers. I then asked him, hey, do U.S. importers operate in the American market or the Chinese market? And he said that U.S. importers operate in the Chinese market, right? So
I
then
misspoke
said,
if I said that.
I then
you didn't.
said, I want to take the high road. I'm going to be nice. I'm just going to explain to our friend JJ what these words mean, right? And how he's wrong. But he then interrupted me and he said, Dean, get the real economic major Parker in here. You're always wrong when I hear you talking about tariffs in the economy. So then I texted you. I got you in here. And Parker, I have a question. When JJ down here says that tariffs on China will make Chinese companies increase the price of their goods in the Chinese market, is he right or is he wrong?
I'm right.
Actually, yeah, tariffs decrease prices, yeah, they're paid by the countries around the world. They're not paid by the American importer who's importing the product at all. They're paid by the foreign country, absolutely. So
Not
yes,
what I
the
said.
prices go up because of the foreign country. That's totally right.
It's not what I said, but I can read this from you again for you again. Ripple effects from U.S. tariffs, primarily imposed on China, Canada, Mexico, in Trump's 2025 term, extend far beyond American borders, raising prices for goods in other countries through interconnected global supply chains, trade diversions, retaliatory measures, and macroeconomic spillovers.
Okay, so it would likely reduce the cost of products like within the context of other nations because it's lowering the demand of American consumers on their products. So you actually, it's the inverse of what you're saying. It causes an increase in the price of products for American consumers because the American importing like business passes it down to the consumer because it's an aspect of cost of production and distribution. Now
It
you might say
literally
that
said-
you might say that the foreign country, like businesses within the foreign country, might try to eat some of that cost in order to be able to keep that market in the very first place. But that doesn't mean that the goods are more expensive because of the foreign country's business. The goods are more expensive because the government is, taking some of the money from the American importer.
So the goods are more
that of
expensive
itself
in
would
other
also
countries,
still
right?
create conditions where they would likely decrease labor standards within countries around the world in order to be able to compensate for the level of change. Given that,
Wait, but you
their
just
imposition
said
of
the
a price.
good. You just said the goods in other countries are higher.
Well, no, they're higher to the American consumers and to the American
in
importers.
in the American market, not to Chinese consumers in the Chinese
Yeah.
market.
It literally says it disrupts trade flows.
So
and
what
increases
you're
production.
misunderstanding is that it says retaliatory measures. So say a foreign government responds to the U.S. tariff and they impose a tariff on us, then it would increase the cost of the products within their country, but that's only because they imposed a tariff on us.
Right. So
but every country is doing that. Every country is being retaliatory.
Not within one another.
It wouldn't be the American tariff that would lead to a necessary increase in the price of a Chinese product in the Chinese market. It would be the potential Chinese retaliatory tariff that would be imposed back on the U.S. that may increase the price of some goods in the Chinese market. Keep in mind that the goods that it would increase the price of in the Chinese market wouldn't be the Chinese goods.
No,
It would be the
it
American
doesn't.
goods.
U.S. tariffs
JJ,
force China.
JJ, real
Hold on.
question. Did you read that off of ChatGPT? Because
No,
it
I
sounds
read
like
it
you
from.
misunderstood that and you didn't know that when it was saying retaliatory, that it was meaning retaliatory tariffs imposed by the country around the world.
And even
That tells me that you read it off of the AI overview.
and even for that, and even for that, like JJ,
production
one
costs
second.
over.
And even for that, retaliatory tariffs would only disrupt the production costs of American imports into China.
No, it doesn't, because it affects supply chains. U.S. tariffs force Chinese exporters to raise starting prices.
Yes, it would
5 to 10%.
It would affect
globally.
supply
On
chains.
who?
It would
Globally.
Affect, yes, exactly. It would affect global supply chains, not domestic ones.
It makes them start their price higher, 5 to 10% globally, not just for America. This is from ResearchGate.net.
I have a question. When your grocery store has you pay sales tax, are they imposing the cost of sales tax on you?
No, they're paying for it.
You even
No,
just,
the grocery store pays the sales tax.
You even
But
just
it's
said
the
it yourself.
government, right?
You even just said it yourself. It increases the price of the good globally in global markets, foreign markets.
5 to 10% globally.
Yes, it would.
That means every country is paying 5 to 10% more on that good.
Exactly. When you tariff, when America tariffs China, then it's going to increase the price of that Chinese tariff. It's going to increase the price of that Chinese good globally, in the sense that it's increasing the price of that Chinese good in global markets, such as the American market.
Also, Argentina or whoever else is still 10% higher. What are you not understanding?
So how would
you
America
just
imposing-
conceded?
No, I didn't concede. I gave you an explanation of why you're wrong. You just can't
You
track.
just said global prices are up 5 to 10%.
I said it would increase the price of the good in global markets, such as the American market, right? To China
or
the
any
American
other market
is a market that is foreign and a part of
Here,
the global
go
market.
to ResearchGate.net. U.S.
Sure.
tariffs force Chinese exporters to raise prices.
Boom, exporters.
5 to 10%
Exporters.
globally.
Exactly. Exporters, dude. Not domestically.
That means less people are going to buy from them, which means less GDP.
If less people are going to buy from them, then their prices would be lower. You absolute idiot. You said that you're in economics. No way you don't know the basics of the supply and demand curve and the impact that would have on equilibrium price. If they're having less demand for their good, then obviously they're going to be selling it for a lower price domestically, right? Because it is the case that the equilibrium price would be lower.
And just given the fact that a moment ago you couldn't properly define what a tariff was, is it really fair for you to be having this argument
What do
on
you
how they work? You said a
tax on
tariff is a
import.
tariff. That's what you
I said
said.
it's a tariff on an import, which means a tax on an import. Like I'm
Okay,
not.
You had
I'm
to
in
look that
college.
up. I get that, but you had to
I'm
look that
debating
up.
3 people.
You
Come
have not really. But
You asked for
did-
this, by the way. You told me to bring Parker up, so I did.
Yeah, you
Well,
have a surface level understanding of how tariffs work, and I don't think it's fair on you personally to be arguing and making a fool of yourself before 13,000 people
You
on a
don't
subject
even know.
that you have.
You don't even know what protectionism is, Jaden. Come on.
How have we protected U.S. jobs?
It's not about jobs, but okay.
Then what are we talking about?
Protectionism
What's the goal
of our
tariffs?
markets.
What's the goal of tariffs?
To use the revenue as subsidies to bring manufacturing to the U.S.
So jobs, right?
Domestic manufacturing investment has declined since Trump got in office and in his
Because they haven't let him use his money from the tariffs.
Well, no, that has nothing to do with them.
That's not what you said, though.
Yes, it does. He said he
Under
was
your
going
view,
to.
what would cause an increase in domestic manufacturing would be the fact that the tariff is imposed and it causes goods from other countries around the world to the American consumer to be more expensive, therefore incentivizing them to buy American-made goods to a greater extent.
Which will, if they're buying from us, we will gain jobs and gain GDP.
The reason why that
What's the
hasn't
problem?
happened, let me tell you this. The reason why that hasn't happened is because when you did a universalized tariff, it caused the manufacturing process in the United States to become more expensive, therefore disincentivizing manufacturing investment in the United States. Also taking into account the fact that it's not like going to be long term. It's likely not going to stay around by the next term. There's not much of an incentive in the long run for any company, especially a large company, to bring back manufacturing to the United States. It's likely that they'll just accept the tariff, and that will cause an increase in the price of consumer goods. So what really Trump said he was trying to do on the campaign trail was to replace income tax with tariffs, which is shifting the burden of taxation from those that are higher income to those that are lower income, because it is the case that income tax disproportionately gets its revenue from higher income individuals, whereas tariffs, because they're on consumer goods and people who are lower income spend a greater proportion of their income on consumer products, it's going to disproportionately cause an increase in the revenue coming from lower and middle income individuals. So all it's doing is shifting the burden of taxation from high income individuals to lower income individuals, essentially taking money from the poor to give to the rich.
I don't believe that. I mean, I believe that, you know, like Biden uses targeted subsidies to bring manufacturing to America.
JJ.
And he used
JJ.
Hold on, let me finish my point.
No, I'm going to cut you off. Can I tell you why I'm cutting you off?
Because you can't.
Because you're debating in bad faith, JJ. Right?
How?
Because you've already affirmed that you believe everything that Parker just said, right? But now when Parker says it, you deny it and you say that you don't believe it. When did you affirm?
Well, because he was trying to. He was.
I understand that I interrupted you, but I think I want to because I'm accusing you of debating in bad faith. Once again, earlier you affirmed that when we impose tariffs on China, the Chinese exporters are going to pass that cost off to the U.S. importer. Do you remember when you said that?
I said to everybody. I said globally.
Okay. Well, I mean, we disagree on that, but I mean, even under your view, that would include U.S. importers, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So when we impose tariffs on China, then they pass that cost off to the U.S. importers. Okay. And then what do the U.S. importers do with that cost? They pass it off to the consumer.
No, the business pays for most of it. I've said that every time.
Okay, well, even in that last statement, I don't need to debate you further because you said most, not all, meaning that they, under your view, pass some of it off to the consumer, meaning that it is still disproportionately increasing a regressive tax that hurts you more the less money you make.
Well, no, it would be the same because if purchasing power goes up, it wouldn't affect us at all.
But it hasn't.
Why would
so
purchasing power? Why would purchasing power go up when the price of goods goes up?
Because inflation is going down, and we're going to be creating more jobs.
Inflation's not going down.
Wait, you're arguing
it's
that inflation
right now, but okay.
You're arguing a contradiction. You're arguing that Donald Trump is making inflation go down by imposing tariffs on China that then China's passing off to American importers.
It will go down when they let him use his revenue from the tariffs, and he brings manufacturing here, just how Biden did with his subsidies. It's the same thing, and we're just not using debt.
Oh,
can you give an example?
You also said that the reason. You also, one second, because earlier you said that the reason we've seen a reduction in investment into American manufacturing is because the government hasn't allowed Donald Trump to use his subsidies. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, guess what? You're wrong because we're talking about real private investment, not public investment. Private investment. Thank you.
So you're saying investment into companies is down when the stock market has been up for 5 months?
Yes.
So no, that's not true.
Fixed investment is down.
People like me and you are.
So when I show you the
stocks more,
when I show you the facts, are you going to whine and cry?
No, me and you are investing more in stocks than ever before.
I have a question. True. When I show you the facts, are you going to whine and cry?
No, I mean I've been giving probably your best debate all day.
Unfortunately, I disagree. I could agree that you probably.
I've been in here the whole stream. Everybody just gives their feelings instead of facts. I'm actually trying to give you sources here.
I think that you probably think you're giving me the best debate of all day, but I can assure you, you're not.
These other people are actually stupid. Like they don't know what they're talking about.
You didn't know what a tariff was.
Yeah, I think your ego is a problem.
I didn't know what a tariff was. Okay, yeah, sure.
No, you didn't.
How did I know it then? A tax on an import is not hard to understand.
That's not what you said. That's not what you said. That's not what you said. But that's okay. Listen, you have a lot of time to learn. You have a lot of time to learn. And right now we're seeing the real world effects of tariffs, including here. You've yet to support how exactly.
If they let him use his revenue from the tariffs.
Who is they?
The courts blocked him using the revenue. He literally said last week
evidence of the tariffs not
he literally
being
said last week he would bail out agriculture if they let him.
Wait, so now he's bailing out agriculture and not building up manufacturing investment?
Ooh.
It's not all of the money going to agriculture.
What do you mean all of the money though? Specifically that industry though. Why can't we just point to that as an example?
Okay.
Yeah, let's point to that. Why haven't they let him bail out our agriculture?
So remember when you said that it was not true that investment into American manufacturing was going down? So I'm going to give you the citation on this. If you go into Google and you type in FRED, Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, real private fixed investment into American manufacturing, you'll see this graph pop up. And if you look at the end of the graph there, the first decline you see would be in the last quarter of 2024 when Donald Trump won the election. And it has gone down every single quarter since. And if you take a look at the quarters before Donald Trump won the election, under the Biden-Harris administration, you will actually not see a single quarter where it went down, and instead we observe the largest boom into American manufacturing in American history. So when you told me that I was wrong for suggesting that real private fixed investment into American manufacturing is down, in fact, you were wrong, and the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, in conjunction with the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, disagree.
You know why there was so much increase in manufacturing? Because of COVID. Nobody could do anything until it was over. It's bounce back manufacturing, if I would say.
Okay.
No, wait, show him the prior few years.
Yeah, sure.
You cannot tell us that this is bounce back manufacturing.
Not all of it.
And now you're. By the
most of
way,
it.
I'll prove this newest claim wrong, but and we need to make it clear that now you're pivoting because you suggested that investment into American manufacturing was going up, and in fact, you explicitly told me that I was wrong when I suggested
I
that
meant
investment into
investment.
American manufacturing is going down. This is investment, buddy.
I just meant investment in total.
So there we go. So there we go.
What does that mean?
So there we go.
Look at that bounce back. Woo!
Oh, what a crazy bounce back.
Yes, when it bounces back, it goes like above where it ever was prior.
Most of it was bounce back. I'm just saying.
What?
It was.
Dude, you have eyes?
What?
Look.
You look at
What
that.
are you basing this off
Most of
of?
that's bounce back. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, do you have? Just look at it. Just look at what's in front of you. You cannot
Obviously,
That's
argue.
more
it
than
doesn't-
double of what it is in 2019.
It doesn't. All of it isn't bounce back, but a lot of it is.
Bro, use your eyes and look. Dude,
Look
just
at
look.
So how much of it is?
Just
That's the
look.
biggest little bump ever.
That's more than 3 times.
So did Biden
Arguably
not
like
give
4 or
incentive-
5. Listen, arguably
Biden
like
not
4 or
give
5 or 6
incentives
times.
to-
No. Just look at the graph. Do you seriously believe that most of that was a bounce back? I just want you to be able to examine, right,
Actually,
the height
Dean.
of this line compared to the height of this line.
Dean, look at the height of what it was under Obama, right? So he's actually bouncing back from what Trump lost.
It's lower, that's right.
It's partially bounced back from what
Okay,
Trump lost.
what incentives?
Height of this line.
Dean, look at the height of what it was under Obama, right? So he's actually bouncing back from what
That's right.
it's partially bounced back from what
Okay,
Trump lost.
what incentives did Biden give to invest?
Nah,
in-
buddy, we're
Wait,
not going
but-
to move on yet.
Biden was able to achieve the exact same level of success through tariffs. And
using debt.
I don't know what the fuck that means. But you're saying that Biden was able to do that somehow with Trump is incapable of doing the same thing?
The tariffs Biden has were the ones that Trump imposed in.
We see,
2016.
right. Well, those tariffs apparently worked when Biden did it and saw a surplus of manufacturing. Can you make that make sense?
Well, Biden didn't use the revenue from the tariffs. He just
You said
brought
that
on
he did.
debt.
You
No,
just
he
said that
brought
he did.
on
I don't know
debt.
what the fuck that means. He's paying for it with
Was a whole bunch of debt that we didn't even need.
what are you
Most of the
talking about
solar-
at this point? Wait, what are you actually saying? What are these words saying that he did the same mechanism that Trump is doing now?